Welcome to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry. Oop, that my chair is going backwards here. On the Mighty Loading Ready live video entertainment network. We're a Let's Try program where we try lots of different things, succeed sometimes and fail others. Hopefully today is going to be just full of success. I'm Ian.
I'm Beej.
And yeah, we've got a pile of stuff for you today. Beej has got a big pile of rims, and I've got some projects that I've had sitting in the hob for a while. Is sitting on the hob? Sitting on the hob.
On the hob.
Yeah, on the hob for quite a while, waiting for a day when I can just get to them, and that is today.
What's a hob?
Oh, that's
Stovetop.
Like, yeah, that's the British stovetop word, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Oh. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a hob.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. I need to get back onto listening to satirical British programs.
Like the Bugle?
Yeah, well, the Bugle's gone.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's still there, but hey. So, yeah, you have wheels to polish.
Should I start with talking a bit about this?
Well, I'm first of all curious, why polish your wheels?
Right. I mean, in a general sense, to clean your wheel is not a bad idea.
Yeah, I can't help but notice that those are not on a car.
No, exactly. These are my spare rims, which will not fit, I'm pretty sure will not fit on my Jetta, and I wouldn't anyway because they're not the right brand. So these are AMG monoblock, and also sometimes referred to as a pentalobe, but it's probably not a pentalobe because there are two different types that look like this. These are AMG rims. These are not hubcaps. These are literally what your entire wheel goes on. Your tire goes on this wheel.
It's a lot of aluminum.
It's a lot. And I mean, you might hear these referred to as mags because I guess they used to make them out of magnesium.
Oh, that explains it.
Like magnesium alloys, right?
I thought mag just meant something like it was magnetic and
Yeah.
therefore full of metal.
Yeah, no, it's
Magnificent.
magnificent wheels. So the story behind these is I used to drive a Benz, and I had their clip speech. And so I used to drive a Mercedes, and I wanted a set of summer tires and then winter tires. And it was just easier rather than having to get tires put on and off all the time. I'm like, why don't I just buy myself a second set of rims that I can put my own tires on? And I saw a guy who was actually selling tires and rims. They're from an S-Class, the same year as my car, as my E-Class, I think at that time. Or no, it was my 190D. And he wanted $250 for all four. And so I show up, and he's got these nice AMG rims. And they're dirty, but they were...
Still sounds like a screaming deal.
Yeah, well, they had tires that were like, 60% wear on them. I'm like, I'm buying new tires eventually anyway. I'll just buy these from him, and then I can keep using the tires until those are dead, and then actually put some real tires on them, some nicer ones. And $250 for these four. And then later, when my car became crashed, because I actually wasn't driving it.
It's true. That's a very good use of the passive voice.
Yes. When my car became crashed, my E-Class, which had these on at the time, I was like, oh shit. And so I took these off. I put my other ones back on, the stock wheels that came with, because I was driving around with these on. These were on at the time. And I thought, well, I'll sell these separately along with my winter tires. It's very hard to sell winter tires here in Victoria because there's never any snow. But I did eventually sell them. But the rims, I was like, I think these are going to be hard to shift. So, you know what? I'll put all four of them up for $300. Mm-hmm. Within 24 hours, I had about 30 to 40 replies. And the first guy responded, I'm like, I'm going to give him a shot. And says, yeah, here you go. Totally take these. He's like, great. I need them in I'm going to come by in about 3 days. I'm out of town, whatever. So 3 days later, he doesn't come. I'm still fielding people saying, I want these. I had guys actually saying, I don't care if you already have an offer. I will offer you more for these. I will take them today and I will offer you more. And I'm like, I don't want that. And the guy came back like 3 or 4 times and he kept upping the... First, he actually lowered the price. He's like, those aren't worth $300. I'll give you $250, just get them off your hands. I'm like, no, I have an offer. He's like, I'll give you $300 then and you can just give them to me now. I'm like, no. He's like, okay, how about $400? And I'm like, okay, you know what? No. The dude who I offered them to didn't get back to me in time, like that I felt comfortable. So I'm like, you know what? Screw you. I'm pulling these offline and I'm going to see how much these are actually worth. And I went online and a pristine set, new old stock of these on eBay is $2,000.
Oh, good pull.
Should have done that first.
So what you need to do now is take these back to as close to new old stock as possible.
That's the idea, is to clean
Yes.
off as much crud as possible so that I can get to wherever. Now, you've already had a look at these, and you can see that there's still some crud on them in that.
They're filthy.
Yeah, this is one actually I've prepared earlier. I would like to show you what they actually look like,
Oh,
which is that.
that's really filthy.
Yeah.
Dirty.
This is probably like mostly carcinogenic. We'll have to be careful because there's a lot of brake dust. So yeah,
Dirty wheels.
so I will be polishing hopefully 3 of those tonight to get them back to as close to the stock as the first one you saw. And if I can get any more off of them so they're cleaner, so much the better. And I did all that with like some degreaser and some other stuff. And so what we're using tonight is going to be simple green. And if necessary, I'll use some polishing compound. And the entire time I'll be doing this, it's going to be using the gloves and also using Mr. Clean Magic erasers.
But yeah, by the way, when we were at Canadian Tire, picking up the cleaning stuff, we went to the automotive section, and it's amazing how many separate parts of the car require different cleaning. Like there's for getting bugs off your windshield is like a separate cleaner than all the other cleaners.
Getting tar off, except that then there is one that is bug and tar remover.
Yes.
So clearly that's the good deal.
Well, then you have to lay down the bug defense
Yep.
layer.
Yep.
And then there's like stuff for cleaning your bumper, but just clean, like I don't know what happens when you use it anywhere else in your car. But
Oh,
there's,
don't.
like, you clean your bumper with this stuff. You clean your like rear view mirror with this stuff.
what?
Like it seems like you need about 15 products to accurately, effectively clean every part of your car.
Paul, the last time I detailed my car, I used Armor All because that has the word all right in there.
Yep.
It's true.
You put it on everything.
It doesn't say armor some stuff.
My favorite thing was telling Paul about claying your car.
Yes,
Yes,
right.
which
Because
is-
clay is a very
It picks up shit real well, and it's ridiculous because you take a clay bar, you work it until it's more malleable. You spray your car with a detailing solution, never water, but a detailing solution, and then you rub this in one direction on your car, and then you work it back together, and you do that again. And what it's doing is it's picking up microscopic little particles that are ruining the flash and finish, and it's also smoothing out any little tiny bumps of paint that are a little too high.
because the clay is also a slight abrasive.
Yes, it's insane.
Yeah. I feel like if the stuff on the car is not visible to the human eye, that's probably not a huge concern.
But it is because it's ruining the flash. When you see the glint, it's ruining the glint.
So
That is amazing. What do we got here?
We have someone, Stug Life 45 in the chat, has clayed his car once.
I'm sorry.
That's why they've only clayed their car once. What we got here is my first project today, which is a stand-up bass, or stand-up electric bass, that I purchased from a hard-off in Japan. And as I was looking for the materials,
It's a little loose.
it's very loose. We got the side bit here to rest your hip on. I found the receipt from the hard-off.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, proving that I purchased it from a Japanese secondhand shop for how much? 30,000 yen,
$300?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
which is why I bought it at the time.
What model is
I
this?
don't know. There is no marking on this to indicate at all what company made this or where it came from or where it was manufactured.
So it's bespoke.
Might as well be. Anyway, it's so bespoke that the people who shipped my things surface-wise back from Japan decided to,
Ruin it?
Yeah, ruin it. Now it's got a bump here, a little scratch. There's a couple bumps on the bridge here. But most importantly, you may or may not be noticing that it is missing a nut. And that's today's project. First project is to replace that nut. And I've been searching high and low for bone from a long time to be able to replace said nut.
Can you just move it back a little bit so you can see them?
There we go. So no nut. There it is in my camera.
Okay, that'll be fine.
No nut here. I've finally got some bone. I've traced out a outline of what the actual neck looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that tracing up and then cut out a new nut and shave it off. And hopefully I can used my bass, which I have not had a chance to play in the past 10 years.
Since you got back from Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that
It's always broken my heart.
should we be concerned about where you got that bone?
The bone was purchased from a local music shop that has now gone out of business.
Purchased from a local bone store.
Yeah. The Boneyard.
A bonery.
Molly wants to know if the thing you got from the hard on is missing a nut.
It's the hard off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a bone nut.
That's why it's missing a nut. Yeah. So
I like that an electric bass. It kind of looks like you could actually just hold that sideways and play it like a guitar. Just a really long guitar.
optional. Okay, so I'm going to trace this out here, and then we can retrace it on once I have.
So we've got Beige cleaning rim cam over here.
Yeah. And I'll lower it into the thing once I get enough simple green inside of it.
Hey, Ian,
Yes.
will you please explain what a hard off is?
I talk about hard
You
off.
and Beach are just like, oh yeah, obviously we know exactly
hard
what
off.
that
Yeah,
is.
hard off.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, chat's like, the fuck is a hard off?
Hard off.
I feel like I talk about hard off enough that it should be common knowledge, but obviously not yet.
I know.
Yep. The Hard Off is a line of Japanese secondhand shops. Hard Blank is the naming scheme. So,
No, blank off.
oh yeah, Blank Off. I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay, book off.
you're right. I got that backwards. Yeah, it's Blank Off is the store.
Except for Off House.
Yeah, that's true. And because there is also no F off, which would obviously be the used pornography store, but that's actually the book off.
That's just straight Akihabara.
Yeah. So Book Off is a place where you can get used books, used CDs, and used media, and just great prices on these things. And because the Japanese generally take very good care of their stuff, things that you're buying are generally in pristine condition. So Off House, as Beach mentioned, is a place for household goods. So you'll get things like rice cookers, clothing, blankets. The Japanese tend to do a lot of gift giving with blankets and teacup sets and that. So you'll see those things end up going to these. They're like an upscale good pawn shop.
So wait, all the stuff that you give to a family to say thank you, they're like, oh, arigato, and turn around and just junk it in the Off House.
Oh yeah, because it would be super awkward to actually go and.
Oh, yuck.
I think that's good. Just it's Japanese people, give a lot of gifts and are very nice about storing their stuff, but they aren't any better than any other culture in terms of
Oh no.
good gifts.
Actually, I think in fact that I would argue that the Japanese are very, very efficient in how they would deal with gifting like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know what a hard off is, what is that? What are you doing?
The Hard Off is the hardware store. It's where I bought my television, where you buy your video games, where you can buy musical instruments. Actually, it's where I bought my camcorder there as well.
I like that none of those things are things that you would buy in a hardware store.
No. Okay.
I have a different definition of hardware store than I'm used to.
So what I'm doing right now is as I said, I've taken this, I placed it against the neck of the neck of the bass, and traced out an outline of the neck. What I'm going to do is transfer that to paper so that I can move it up so that the top edge of the crest here is against the edge of the nut.
The finished side?
Yep.
Okay.
So that I can cut it out, and then that way I don't have to worry about measuring it perfectly the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I can then just I can cut progressively more and more off the bottom in order to make sure that I've got a working and properly sized nut, because it was so destroyed that I don't have any pieces of the original nut left.
No.
And now I can stop saying the word nut, hopefully.
No. No, please don't.
Keep nutting forever?
I'm almost there.
What I have to do is just go into the other room for a second to retrieve a box cutter.
So what I also did, I'm covered in brake dust now, and I even have some on my arm, and I got a little bit on my pants. Despite I really should have worn we have that bunny suit that big yellow Walter White sucker, and I should have worn that. But so now what I'm going to do is take this one glove off so I can grab our nice kettle, which I've already heated some water up in beforehand. Add a little water to this. And hopefully if I don't really hate putting my hands in this really hot water, because I'm bad at that, we should be able to start working this around a little bit. I might have to get a lot more water. I need a lot more water, probably. I wonder if I should just fill this thing.
If you take it to the place where they're going to install the washing machine,
Oh, yeah.
there's 2 spigots coming directly out of the wall.
I could literally just fill it with more water. couldn't
Yes,
I?
and hot water too.
And hot water too. Oh my god.
Is that actually wired for hot water?
I think it is.
Well, I would assume if they had a washing machine in there.
I know they have cold water because that's what I filled the keg with for the.
Oh wow, I could literally just let this thing sit in some hot water for a bit. Well,
I'm gonna be right back.
yeah, to the Astrovan. I'll be right back.
Okay. So
Try not to make a mess with these fucking gloves.
let me let you all in on a cool little tip here. Sticky pads, the 3M other releasable stick pads are available. If you trace something out on bone with pencil, and then push it against the back, the adhesive will pull off some of the carbon, and therefore you don't have to trace it again. I'm a genius. And now I can use this to just line it up with the top of the, actually I'm going to push it right up against the edge too, so I can get 2 edges, reducing further the amount of stuff I need to cut off.
Why is that made out of bone?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure, but if I had to hazard a guess, I would say because it's a dense material that won't absorb the sound, but will properly transfer it on for better reverberation throughout the instrument.
Is that the only part of the instrument that's the only piece of bone in there?
I mean, originally it wasn't made of bone on this piece, it was just a piece of plastic, which is probably why it shattered so well. But yeah,
So theoretically, this should be a slight improvement.
let's hope so. If nothing else, it'll be it'll definitely be an improvement over what it's currently doing now, which is nothing. Okay.
A couple of Scrimshaw fans in the chat.
Ooh,
I don't know.
right, that's what that's called.
Yeah. I don't know why carving bone has a special word rather than just carving. But
I mean, if you were specifically a bone carver, would you not want a special word to make your own little club?
it's true. So can you carve bone with a mat knife?
Oh no, I'm definitely not doing. That's what the hacksaw is for.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably give it some. I mean, let's see, because I'm gonna have to hack some pieces off here anyway. Oh yeah, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's very hard. What else we got here? These are other pieces of bone that I've attempted to purchase without actually making measurements beforehand, and ended up basically they're wasted. In here, I have a previous bridge that I found that was wide enough, but wasn't nearly tall enough. So
it's not a standard thing, eh? Like it isn't all stand-up electric basses have basically the same.
no, because I have never run into anything like this. And the few shops that I've taken it to ask if they did have anything, have just said no. You'd have to give this to our repair department and let them deal with it. And I've always been too cheap/poor to do that. Where is the thing that I need? It's right here. Haha. Ugh. To save my hands, we're bringing out the old vice lock.
That is an old vice lock.
It's my pappy's vice.
Really? Really?
Yes, yeah.
Cool. I think my dad has a vice like that too, actually.
It's pretty great, and I didn't realize until a while back when I was making some SCA armor that this is an anvil. That's what it's there for hitting. So what we're going to do here first is we're going to take off one of the edges.
I always like these things, the tools and things where, like, there's new materials and everything that are stronger and lighter for a given thing, but part of the point of the thing is it for it to be big and heavy.
Yes, big and hard, or big and soft, as
Yeah.
the case may be.
But like its size and its weight is actually part of its utility. Getting new, making like an anvil or a vice out of like titanium would defeat the purpose of the operation. It's like, I've made a super lightweight anvil that's portable. Yeah.
Not so good. Okay. So let's cross ourselves over here because I put the line on the wrong side, but now you guys get to see the line.
So even though that vice isn't actually attached itself to anything, just its weight is enough to...
It's just heavy. Yeah, it's definitely heavy enough to keep things in place. Just a bit more. Oh, yes. Oh.
Yeah. It occurred to me that they give these things like liter or gallon ratings, as in how much water you can put in them. Mm-hmm. And as I was filling it, and it's only about a quarter full, I realized, oh wait, I'll never be able to lift this if I fill it up all the way, because 45 liters or 90 liters or whatever of water is exceptionally heavy.
Oh, yes.
I had a waterbed once.
Back when you were a murderer.
Back when I was a murderer. So I decided instead I would get the cart, and I wouldn't fill it up too full either.
By the way, from an ASMR perspective,
This is not good.
no, I love that we have sawing bone
Yep.
and scratching metal and like we have a great combination here. Let me just turn that down a little bit.
Bone saw is active.
All right.
I mean, we could do what we do in these situations and clip the microphone directly to the blade.
All right. For anyone who cares, I don't know if you can actually see inside it from there, but this is what it looks like now. Not that much cleaner, but a little cleaner.
But significantly cleaner than it was.
Yeah, it basically, the simple green and the hot waters help to take off some stuff. So now I'm going to get out a magic eraser and really just go to town. Time to really build up that rim job.
Just so you know, I've turned you guys way down.
That makes sense. The sloshing is going to be great too, eh? I like that it's dropping in pitch.
Okay. So that's one bit of bone off there.
Oh no.
Bone off, bone off.
I don't want to completely mute them, but I have turned you guys down a fair amount.
Yeah.
That song, by the way, is the official song of the Hard Off that will be playing whenever you go into a Hard Off.
Yeah.
Continuously. Forever.
Until you leave.
Yes.
And in which case it keeps playing for the employees.
Until it's time to leave, at which point the song turns over to probably something classical.
That one song that they always play.
Yeah, the time to go home song.
Da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. Which is funny because that song was in Daigasso Band Brothers.
Oh no.
So.
Did you play it last?
No. We did it partway on, mostly because I was afraid that if Heather listened to it, it would remind her of From the New World, Shinsekai no Yori. Because they play it a lot earlier on in the song, or early on in the show, and it's that's a depressing show. So I didn't want to kind of trigger those memories in her and have her be all sad during better to have her angry during Rhythm Cafe, right, rather than sad. We talked about that today, Ian, on Checkpoint.
About whether it's good to be happy or sad.
No, about Dancing Line in specific.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was the story, just because we're pissed off.
Really?
I was mentioning we were talking about microtransactions and stuff, and I was mentioning that I was watching your stream. I was watching the Rhythm Cafe.
Yes, I noticed someone with
As-
your name subscribed during it.
Yes, but as you guys did your complete 180 on, praising the game to high heaven, and I was saying it's like, I think like this morning, Monday morning, I want to see like they should be having a meeting, the developers of that game, show that section to them.
Yep.
It's like, here is two people who are playing this game,
Enthusiastic about it.
enthusiastic about it. They're doing it in front of several hundred people, many of which are also really enjoying it and planning on buying the game. And in 5 minutes, just because of this decision you made, you've not only made it so they are no longer going to recommend the game, but they're actively hating the game now. They're actively discouraging and not playing the game on matter of principle.
Yep.
So I hope the extra, couple bucks that you get by, milking the last little dregs is worth it, because
And the only thing keeping us from seeking a refund is Apple's obtuse policies on getting them.
Graham was not pleased when he heard about the whole thing. He was like, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah.
So now I'm trying to figure out what the best way to to work this down is. Because cutting seems hard, especially with cutting on a curve with the saw. And I don't have a coping saw, so I'm not going to cope with this very well. Filing seems to take quite a while, so let's bring out the nuclear option.
You're going to nuke it?
No, we're going to Dremel it.
Oh, good.
Which is another reason why I have the vise out, so I can do so safer.
I see Loading Ready Run is already posted in the chat.
Yeah, we already gave them money.
Graham is over in the editing office working on some stuff.
All right, which of these wheels do I think is best for bone work?
I think the fine grinding cutter, probably.
Well, the purple or the gray fine? Because I think it doesn't need to be very fine.
I literally can't touch them with my hand. You have to
Right.
put them in my mouth.
Oh, well, let's not do that.
No. Well, don't you need to provide some lubricant when you're dremeling, or no? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Bone won't burn.
Bone takes a while before it burns.
Yeah.
Not going to say it doesn't burn, but
I like that even on the wide, we got a brief, tiny shot in the corner of me just giving her to the rim.
just working that rim.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of requests for masks, both for Beige and whatever toxic chemicals he's using to clean the thing, and also for Ian and whatever dust and things that's going to come out of this when you
Yeah.
start dremeling it.
The point of the water in the Simple Green was to keep the dust down, so that I don't have to worry about breathing it in. I'm just going to be smelling a bit of Simple Green. This is the one thing I hate about Magic Erasers, is that you do wear them out quite quickly.
Yeah, they are definitely disposable.
Yeah, they're a consumable product, and it's a bit of a pain.
I think I'm definitely due for a new set of tools for the Dremel.
Wow.
I mean, these were my father's as well, and some of these cutting blades are pretty either gummed up or completely just ratcheted.
Fair enough.
Give that one a try. Nope, that one's also completely melted. That looks good on this side, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we can.
You wore the teeth off.
If we've got a angle here on that one, probably not. But it's one side has some teeth, and then one side is completely melted. You can see the shine there.
Bone is not good for your lungs. Speaking as someone that worked at the crematorium. Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you.
But Ian isn't doing this daily. He's fine.
Do your best not to turn your head away from the bone before you inhale.
Lily, we are not working on motorbike parts. I mean, I'm polishing rims and Ian is getting the Dremel out with the vise. I can see why you'd be mistaken, but no. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, all of my motorcycle parts are currently still in Alberta, but I will feed you updates as they become available.
How'd your thing go?
The training?
Yes.
Just great. I now am an unrestricted learner for being a motorcycle rider,
Nice.
which means that I can ride above 60 kilometers an hour and without supervision, but not after dark.
Oh, so do you have to put a big N on your
No, I don't.
back of your helmet or some shit?
No, thankfully I don't have to do anything like that at all.
Are you allowed to ride below 60 miles an hour? Or is it a speed situation?
Look, this is Victoria. It's very difficult to drive above 40 kilometers an hour anywhere.
So one of the things that was also mentioned to me when I was trying to sell these things, I had people asking, "Hey, can you post the serial numbers? Can you post the point of origin, like all that kind of stuff?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I should take some pictures of that." Of course, it's covered in brake dust, so I had to wipe off a bit of it with a rag or paper towels or whatever to try to get that. I've heard of people polishing their rims by just using mineral spirits, just soaking them for like overnight in mineral spirits and then hosing them off. And I'm like, that's not really polishing. I mean, it's cleaning, but
I mean, that's still cleaning.
that's cleaning, right? It works just fine.
You can polish them after the fact.
But what got me was looking at this, like looking at the rim. It says, because of how old these are, it says AMG, made in West Germany.
Yeah, go ahead and take your mic down a little bit there, Ian.
Go right ahead.
All right, let's work the inside.
So,
That is definitely animal part.
so when it says that those were made in West Germany,
Yep,
does that mean they were made at a time when there was East and West Germany?
yep. So these are, these are like, they were made in the 80s and 90s. Like my Benz was a 1989. These are meant to fit anything from they're made to fit anything that's got the Mercedes like layout on it. The dude who was driving the S-Class, it was an SL something or other, and I think it was like a 1986, 1987. So it's like, yeah, these all came from West Germany during that time. And people want to know because they're like, they want to see the provenance. They want to know when these things came from. Are they remakes? Are they like, what are they? And so you have to show them. It's like, well, these came from X time. These are this old.
For some reason, I love the idea of people smuggling car rims out of West Germany.
I would really love a pair of West German wheels.
Well, for $2,000. Oh yeah, and by the way, these are not going to be worth $2,000 when I sell them. I want to be clear. The ones I saw were new old stock.
You think you'll get like a 1,000?
I think I'll probably maybe get 1,200 if I'm lucky. I hope to clear about 1,000, but we'll see.
Is that working?
This wheel isn't as good as the other one I've tried so far. Okay. I really don't like the smell of this.
Yeah, a couple people in the chat said that it definitely will smell.
That's why I'd like to get this done as soon as possible.
I should have bought like 40 of these goddamn things. I'm going to just ruin them.
Falling on an.
Oops.
I can get part of it off.
And down goes the mic again. I actually just watched Atomic Blonde the other day, but which takes that's just why I was thinking of East-West Germany, because it's a large part of that movie, and just the idea of someone like, going through a checkpoint, somehow trying to smuggle 4 rims.
All right. Let's toss this in some liquid. Give it a spin. Put it through the dirty water.
Ian's mic is completely muted at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There we go.
What did I think of Atomic Blonde? I thought it was okay. It was not. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't the best, but it had some excellent action sequences.
Definitely a different movie than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. For one thing, I didn't know it was like a period piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either. So then you described East-West Germany. I'm like, really? Iron Curtain? Huh. All right.
But I actually, almost more interesting than the movie itself, I saw a couple of amazing featurettes just on YouTube of one of the stunt coordinators going, just like showing. There's just one showing a couple of fight scenes in particular, and just beat by beat going through showing the fight scene and basically what they had to do, how they did each thing and stuff. And it's just crazy. Like, there'll be such a quick little, such a fight scene. It just looks like, okay, it's like a choreographed fight, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's like a combination of, it's like a choreographed fight, plus there's various things added in CG, plus there's like special breakaway things happening. There's a special little explosive in like the glass table to get it to shatter properly when they throw a guy into it.
Okay.
There's a thing here. There's all this there's all in every single tiny move has been practiced over and over and over again, by both the stunt people and the actors and all this stuff. Amazingly complicated.
The wonderful muted TT. TTSF in mute. We're a silent film now.
No, Bija's mic is still up.
That's good. Here, I'll get nice and close to this so you can hear this.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Ian, my hands are forfeit. Can you please unpack another magic eraser?
Certainly.
Paul, we are going to go full 3 magic erasers on 1 rim. I do not think I'm going to be able to make one I can't make one last. It's already gone.
You need more magic.
I need way more magic. I should have, now that I think about it, as Ian pointed out before the show, it's like 48 melamine resin erasers for $5 on Amazon.
Like, would just a scrub brush be just as effective as a magic eraser?
Do
at
we
this
have
point?
like a stiff brushed scrub brush?
I don't know, but
If
or,
we
or
did it-
just like a
That
just
would be
like a
better.
scrub pad. But
Yeah.
I don't know if we do or not.
Oh, I think I do. Where did I put them?
Yeah. By the way, I would like everybody to note that Ian is wearing his safety goggles and his gloves.
Yeah.
I know in the past some people may have been concerned about that kind of thing, but
I'll be right back.
we are fully safe-ish.
Your safety today is brought to you by you, the viewer. Okay.
Yeah, one of those green scouring pads is kind of what you need.
My goodness. You know what? I think this. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow. This Dremel, or at least the brass bit that holds the Dremel piece in, may have bit the bucket.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because it's not holding on to the bit anymore.
Ah, that seems like an important part of the Dremel.
Kind of vital. So let's see if we have any more of those. If not, I may just.
Have we added a new thing to repair to the...
We literally have this one, though.
So far, we're moving backwards in terms of the list.
So when I said that it's time to. It's time to fix this. Oh, good. We do have extra brass pieces. Thank goodness. It might be time, though, to take this this guy, this Power Fist tool, back to Princess Auto.
This is the tool that was owned by your father?
Yes. You can do that.
They passed down from generation to generation until it was returned for a refund.
Good use. Okay.
The great and benevolent Princess Otto of the Ottoman Empire, perhaps? Probably not.
I'm gonna say probably not. But... Oh, good. We've got plenty of extra of the brass grippy bits. Should we need any more? Hopefully not. Hopefully that's the right size.
This is not just a lifetime warranty. This is generational warranty.
Lifetime of the product.
That's true. But then if the product breaks, isn't that the life of the product?
I'll keep it on support. I was wondering why I was able to I kept tightening it and nothing was happening. Oh, wow. That's a big difference already.
It's handy that it has those replacement parts.
Yeah. God, that's tight. That's the mark of a good tool, in my opinion, though, is it something that can be replaced
Indeed.
or repaired easily. You just not go in? Oh, no, you will. Just not
Although
deeply.
often that isn't the case. You know, the Princess Auto, while having the lifetime warranty and etc., is not known for its super high quality tools.
No. You're not coming to Princess Auto for the quality of the tool. You're coming there for you need a tool and you're okay with it being subpar and probably returnable. I don't think that's quite the right. It might not be the right tool. The right brass bit. We might have to go spelunking again. And here I was before the show telling Paul that there wouldn't be any fiddly bits to consider on this episode. How wrong I was. All right, is that one that'll work for us? It has some grippy. That's too big.
It's the damnedest thing.
Yeah, the chat was a little concerned that an SOS type pad might scratch up the rim.
Yeah, I would never use steel wool on these. It would just ruin them. But
I mean, like a plastic, style sort of
like a Scotch-Brite.
Scotch-Brite type pad should be fine.
I'm going to use that. And now I have to go clean my gloves because I dropped one in it and it got stuff inside it.
Oh no.
So I got to go clean that.
Goodbye.
Yep.
It was nice knowing you. Mm-hmm. Beej will be missed. He's not going to be gone long, but he will be missed. Okay, and there it is. Okay, and now let's tighten it up.
Let me just mute Beej's mic.
Yeah, anytime you're out of the room like that, you kind of got to be careful if you're mic'd up.
Yeah, the old wireless mic.
Okay, that feels good and stiff. Which is what you want when you're grinding the bone. These are all legitimate statements.
Yeah, I was just gonna let it go, but okay, that's good. Hopefully that isn't too bad for you folks. I brought down the mic a little bit. How are the gloves, Beej?
Oh, they're fine. They're really, really hot because I rinsed them out with hot water. Rinsing them out with hot water means I can't wear them for a while. So they're just going to sit and dry a bit. In the meantime, I'll do this.
It sounds like being at the dentist getting a filling. I mean, I guess. Although if your dentist brings out a large iron vise and a Dremel, I would be hesitant.
You might want to look up a different dentist.
Consider your dentists. Okay, so right now I'm just trying to even out some curve here, which is difficult to do because it's not eye level.
Need to put something under it.
That might help quite a bit, actually, which means I can use something called... Oh, that'll do.
This might have been better. I should have actually used something like this to get all the rough shit off. So I could use the resin, the magic eraser to polish off the rest of the other stuff.
What's going to be great about this is that it's going to form a resonation chamber.
That's going to be really loud.
Let's
Yep,
find out.
There we go. Down we go again.
Oh no.
Oh, good.
Beej, you replaced the batteries in your mic, right?
Yeah? Am I mute?
No, it keeps cutting out.
I mean, I'm leaning way over my mic. Maybe it's... I don't know.
Starting to get the smell over here. It's got some umami to it.
Okay, that's good. Aha. All right, let's see how this is going. I don't think that's too bad so far. That's pretty clean all around so far.
Nice. Getting inside there is going to be a pain in the butt, with all those little corners.
Yeah, and that's going to be more of a, I'm going to have to do it like face up here. But for the time being, I'm just going to get her back in there.
Oh, that's... I kind of wish James was here to dare somebody to drink that water.
That sounds like him, doesn't it? It's funny because after I would take these off my vehicle, I briefly think, God, that's really filthy. I should clean that. Ah, well. And briefly, actually, I did think about taking this to like a place where you can get stuff acid cleaned. Just like think, how much to dip all four of these in your acid tank for like 10 minutes, and see if I could actually do it. But
Well, have you considered citric acid?
like just a citrus degreaser.
Yeah, like, well, no, just buying citric acid at the
just
grocery
using that
store and
instead.
using that.
I was also afraid of if that would end up etching the metal, but I could probably try it. I mean, we might only ever get one done tonight anyway, so yeah, maybe I'd do that with the last ones.
I don't know what these places are like. You know, these you're talking about places where you can get stuff acid etched or whatever.
Yeah.
But the idea that they just have, like, it's like, could you just throw this in your like they just have like a big bucket full of acid
Yeah.
that they just put things in. I feel like that's probably not how it works.
No. I mean, they make those kind of tanks, I'm pretty sure, for a reason, like to be able to do that. Real Gamer Cow has just said, my company could have laser cleaned those for you, Beej.
Oh, there you go.
And unless you're local, Real Gamer Cow, that isn't really that handy.
Like,
unless you can find a buyer in the Real Gamer Cow's area.
Yeah, who'd be like, I'll sell these to you, but you have to buy them at full price and clean them yourself.
Like, I feel like large open vats of acid are mostly only used in like Joker and Two-Face creation stories.
Oh, yeah. We don't really have them. I mean, we have them hanging around, at like the university, I'm sure. That's probably about it. Julie was telling me a story about how she was diluting acid, because that's part of her job, is to take the 99% stuff and dilute it down to the 50% stuff. And she was working in the fume hood with the fume hood down, so she had just a little bit of space for her hands to go in to work on this stuff. And she's got everything in the tongs and doing it all correctly. And as she's pouring one into the other, the bottom of the bottle she was pouring into just came loose. Like it just separated from the rest in a perfectly clean break, perfectly clean circle. It just came loose and fell into the bottom of the fume hood. And she went, she exclaimed, "Jesus fuck!" and took a very graceful step backwards while saying that. Like she didn't throw herself backwards. I'm like, because there's like a 6-foot tank of shit behind her that clearly would have caused a problem if she had like slammed into it. And I'm like, you have incredible discipline to be working in a lab. And she's like, I suppose, yes. But I'm like, yeah, just schlick, the bottom just falls out. And I'm like, oh, God.
I remember my dad talking about, he's a especially when he was in college and stuff. He was a photographer, and he developed all his own stuff. And,
Yeah.
and he's talking about doing the developing process, and starting the working on the working on the prints and all the going through the different baths and sort of the old school developing process in a dark room.
Yeah.
And starting the process wearing gloves and not having gloves on his hands at the end of the
At no point did he remove them.
that the gloves that he was wearing actually dissolved partway through the process.
Oh no. You don't want that.
Holy shit. All right, let's give this a spin.
This looks pretty good, actually. This is a Arc de Triomphe.
In that you're triumphant? You got what you wanted?
I think so.
Nice.
I'm relatively close to, at least.
I literally cannot feel the sponge in my own hands.
So I'm not sure if you changed the angle there, Paul, but this is...
The
There we go. So that's the paper
nice.
piece attached to it. I'd say I got that pretty close.
So it's just the bottom part you'll have to shave down depending on how high you want it.
And it might be that actually that, just judging from what I can see there, that looks about right. Once we get the rounded edge on the front, it's going to be, I think it's going to be good. So I'm going to test that, fit that right now.
So how big an impact on the actual sound of the instrument does that piece have?
It's 100% necessary for the instrument to function at all.
But like if you if you're off with your
measurements
with your carving of it, will that greatly affect the sound?
More than anything, I think it'll affect the playing of it.
Like,
Like it's going to affect the height of the strings against the neck,
Right.
and you're going to want to, because you want the strings to be as close to the fretboard as possible without touching
yeah.
at all points.
And that also means then that when you cut your notches,
Yeah.
because that's something you do to, obviously the string has to be able to stay in place. When you cut a notch in the nut, you have to allow for that so that the thing can sit in a nice notch, but also not sit so fully in the notch that it's like, you want it to be a deep enough notch to hold the string, but not so deep that it's practically surrounded, I believe is the idea, right?
So let's get that in there right now. Oh, well, that's going to require, not sure how visible that is here, but that's going to require quite a bit. Ooh, let's bring it down a bit. Yes, there we go.
So it's too high right now.
Yeah,
Just gonna get it a file and file it off? Or?
that was the idea, but I might actually use the hacksaw instead.
You can use
There we
this
go.
entire
See
table,
that?
by the way.
Check that there. That's too high. That's very too high.
Yeah, wow.
That needs to take about, I think, at least, I'm going to say 5 millimeters off there. That's what I want.
Oh, that's a lot.
Let's have a look.
Like you're sure for sure, right?
Let's get it back in there, because yeah, that's been a bunch of work so far.
Yeah.
You keep saying the nut, but is the bridge would also be another name for this?
This is the bridge.
Yep.
Oh,
This is the nut.
Yep.
oh, I see.
Yeah, they are two separate pieces. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, have a look at that, Beach. About,
Boy, that seems awful tall, yeah.
yeah, like about half a centimeter all around, maybe 4 millimeters.
Yeah,
I think basically the smallest I can cut off with the hacksaw and then file it down from there is going to be the plan.
Not to yuck your yum. Did you look at the bottom, the underside of your bridge?
Oh yeah, it's fucked.
Okay, good.
It's fucky.
Just wanted to be sure you were aware of that
Just
too.
so all of you at home are aware of what that looks like. This is again further damage that was caused by our good friends at the shipping agency. This is non-structural, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the thing still plays very nicely when I'm able to get like small
Now,
temporary nuts in there, I guess.
now we were talking before the stream, and you primarily you play like electric bass,
Yeah.
not stand up bass.
Correct.
Normally, so have you did you actually have an opportunity to play this at any amount before you shipped it?
I played the hell of it in Japan while I was there. In fact,
okay.
I bought it because I wanted to stay in practice with my bass, because I didn't take any basses over with me. Because, as I was telling Paul, the bass guitar is not a solo instrument really, but I did want to stay in practice. So that was
and you decided to get that like the electric stand-up bass just because that you saw that in the store.
Well, I've always wanted a stand-up bass of some sort, just because it has a deeper tone to it. It's a little bit more fun to play when you're slapping it. And
Yeah.
giving it the business. And it's just
Unless it gets given too much business,
Yes.
which is what happened to yours.
Someday,
let's be honest, it's just cooler.
someday we'll have a Desert Buzz band.
All we need is a drummer. How long have we been saying that, Beach?
Oh, since we were in university.
And that's gonna be 20 years now at least.
Yeah? Fuck!
Really?
Holy
Sorry,
shit.
I'm sorry, do you need to go out and buy a newer and hotter car?
I think I need to buy a much nicer car with a drop top.
You have the rims already.
I have these great rims. No, I actually when I was attending Masonic meetings back in Alberta, we did a brief thing where we were talking about like cars that we enjoyed around the dinner table, and one of the guys had mentioned that he was glad that he got a help me out here, Triumph TRZ.
TR4, TR5.
What the hell was it again? It was the really like stupid nice Triumph. But I can't remember what, like, I mean, not in terms of like reliability. I just mean in terms of the really hot one, right?
Yeah.
And he bought one of those when he was young, and he was like, yeah. So I got one of those. I loved it. I drove the hell out of it, and boy, did I crash it. And so he was like, to him it was like, that was the right time to own that car.
Is when you're young.
Yeah, is to own that car when you're young and you can race around, do stupid things. It is not the kind of car you want to like drive in your 40s when you're trying to take care of your shit.
And yourself.
Yeah, right? So I was like, oh, I guess maybe that's it. Maybe some things like that are more of their time. They're a situational thing.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of what I'm thinking is going on with this motorcycle business of mine. Is that it's coming into my life at exactly the time when I'd need it for a midlife crisis.
Yeah, that's good.
Except it's a motorcycle you had. It's not like
Exactly.
you went up and.
I'm really happy you're getting this now, actually, too, because I'm like, you worked on it very hard for a long time.
I should also reiterate to my to the people out there who don't know it already. This was sort of a passion piece that my father and I worked on quite a bit before he passed, and we never got a chance to finish it. We'd got the engine installed, the motor timed. It just needed some painting, final assembly, and exhaust.
Yeah.
And he'd passed before we were able to finish it up. And thankfully, one of the family friends, who is also a rider, volunteered to do the finish of it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Like a whole bunch of things happened at the same time to kind of prevent you from not riding that thing.
Oh, Stug Life 45 is just brought up the Lucas Electric Company slogan, which used to be "Home by Dark." The unofficial edition was "Because your headlights don't work." I know of what you speak because there is a Lucas. There are Lucas Electrics on my Norton.
Still, or did you take them off?
No, it's. We wanted to make it stock
All right.
because we managed to find. We found the bike in a pile of parts.
Oh.
That after we finished sorting it, turned out to have two bikes with matching serial number and frames, and enough parts for a third Norton, which we used to build a flat track racer.
Rad.
Yeah, we refer to the Lucas Electric Company as the Prince of Darkness.
So, Ian, maybe before you start that again, but this will be a good time to go on a quick commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
And you could do that
Hey!
during the commercial break.
Yes.
And I can possibly swap out the batteries in Bija's mic because it seems to be going wonky.
Okay.
Let's do-
And we'll be back in just a few minutes. See you in a bit.
Sounds good. Don't go away. Welcome back, Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, where we are polishing some. I was going to say motorcycle. I don't know why I've got that on the brain. Polishing some car wheels, some AMG beautiful, beautiful wheels, and making some nut for a base.
That would be a really, really big motorcycle.
Thick tires.
Paul and I were talking about this actually earlier when we were out shopping for cleaning supplies, that these are 15-inch rims. And it's funny because, like, if you are a car person now, you're like, that's like driving around on like 13-inch rims in the 80s, right? That was the bog standard wheel. 15-inch rims were like the big ones you could get, or if you want to really be nuts, you can go to 17. And now it's like 21-inch rims, yeah.
Well, and you know the reason for that
is
because of the design, the change in car design.
Yeah.
Because cars have been getting blobbier for safety reasons, they've also required larger wheel wells in order to make the car look less ugly.
Yeah, because they would on 13-inch wheels.
Which then means that if you're making the wheel wells larger, you need to make the wheels larger to fill the space left by the wheel well.
And well, I mean, nowadays it's more often than not you're going to find a vehicle, like not every car comes with Steely's stock. Mm-hmm. They're going to come with an alloy wheel, generally stock, and then they might go bigger and bigger from there. You have to like you have to go down market. I shouldn't say down market, but you have to go to like the base spec vehicle to find anything with Steely's. Yeah. And when I say Steely's, it's steel rims because they're the cheapest rims you can get, and they're generally not that attractive. But they're very utilitarian and do their job well. And so, yeah, you're going to end up with a large wheel. You're going to also end up with a large wheel that's lighter because you're getting like an aluminum alloy or a magnesium alloy. I don't even know if they make magnesium alloy wheels anymore.
I'm sure they do.
But yeah, 17s are what I have on my Jetta from 2013. You're going to end up with like 21s on nicer sports cars, and then it starts to get bigger and bigger. You can get up to like a 35-inch rim on like, if you drive like a lifted truck, you'll get up to 35s and stuff and start like running around on like Mickey Thompson Super Swampers or something like that, if like, that's your jam.
For some reason, as a non-driver,
mm-hmm.
You know, obviously I know like there's I know about the sort of cachet of rims.
Yes.
The sort of fetishization almost of rims in the last little while, right?
Yeah.
You know, and like spinners or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's part of like vernacular. Yeah.
But the impression I always had for some reason was that the wheel like outside dimensions stayed the same size, and like it was just like the rim inside that was getting bigger, and there was just less rubber.
Oh yeah, the tires are shrinking and getting smaller. Yes.
And so eventually it's literally just like a metal wheel with like a rubber lining around it.
Yeah, I mean they call those low profile now, which is crazy that it's. And I don't like that. Like I know that can be a really nice look depending on the vehicle, but I don't like low profile tires because they scare the shit out of me. And more often than not, it's because somebody has purchased a tire that they read on a forum. They're like, you can take this tire and you can stretch it from like a 21 to a 23, and it'll actually eliminate most of the sidewall, so it'll look really hot. And then they do that, and it's like you have stretched that rubber to a breaking point, and your wheels are going to get or your tires are going to get destroyed, and your wheels are going to suffer as a result.
When that tire explodes, your wheels will go away.
Yeah, and then all you'll be left with is the car just skittering on the ground.
And you'll probably end up on a whatchamacallit.
On like an internet subforum?
Yes. I was going to say like wrapped around a tree, but
there's that too.
You know, one generally leads to the other.
Yeah.
I think I've got a size that I'm happy with here.
Oh, nice.
But I think I could use a bit more.
Like you do cutting the notches obviously will bring the strings down a little bit.
Well, and I also need to round off one of the sides. So let's round it off and then start looking at doing some notching. We might not get to too many projects tonight.
Oh well,
but this is one that I've been very excited about doing. So hey. I'm only contractually obliged to do one project anyway.
Are you
I
contractually?
don't think I'm contractually obliged to.
Go check your contract.
Yeah. Whoop.
So, what happened?
Okay, so a thing I just noticed is there were 2 stickers on the inside of my wheel, and they are covered in brake dust and mostly eroded away.
Okay.
In fact, you can probably see them. They're right here.
Oh, would those be where the serial number?
No, those are hard stamped into the
Okay,
wheel, so
good.
that's not a problem. But you can see some cool shit in here, like where it says Ruot OZ and other things that have been like stamped into the wheel to say this is when it was produced. This is the model number, 1988. These were made in 1988, so
A good vintage.
a good vintage.
Oh, yeah, for tire.
I hope so.
Yes, the terroir of the aluminum is.
Well, these things get counterfeited all the time.
Really?
And that's kind of a problem is I'm like, I'm pretty sure knowing that a dude bought these came off of his SL, I was like, these are probably the real deal. But there's every chance these are just counterfeit as well. So I'm not sure how to tell the provenance exactly, but
Counterfeited. I for some reason I thought counterfeiting, like as in fitting opposite direction, was a term that.
sorry.
Art.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to grind a bit more here because that's probably the easiest way to get the edge down that I want. So there'll be a bit more loudness, but hopefully not too much.
Oh God, this thing.
Now again, this may be something obvious to people who do drive, but for myself, when you were at the beginning of this, you were mentioning that you have a Jetta.
Yeah.
And you were like, so I'm not going to use these rims on my Jetta.
Yeah.
Is that because it would be gauche to use BMW rims on a Jetta, or do they actually not fit?
To be fair, that literally is my primary reason why I would not put AMG rims on my VW Jetta, is because I'm mixing brands and that's no good. But also because I have 17-inch wheels on my Jetta right now, and these would be 15s.
So they'd be smaller.
I'd have to get different size tires to run on these because I couldn't put my 17-inch tires on these for one thing. But then also, I'm not sure if you can see how in the wheel there's a hole pattern, right? That's 5 by, what is this? This is 115, 105 millimeters. And it's basically how long the bolts fit in and what the distance between the bolts, all this kind of stuff. There are different patterns for different manufacturers. Some manufacturers use similar, like VW and Audi are the same company, so they will use the same, these days they'll use the same difference. A lot of Euro companies actually will use the same pattern.
But it isn't a standard.
And it isn't, they aren't standards between different companies. They tend not to be. Sometimes they'll just do it because it's just easier to use the same, because you'll order the same assemblies or something maybe from the same subcontractor, so everyone will use the same thing. There we go. Dix is a 5x100, 5x120, or 5x112.
Someone
There's
needs,
also 4x, there's 6x.
someone needs to make like Visa mount tires. That would be just it's an existing standard.
Let me tell you, there are companies that make mounting plates so you can mount one type to another type. It's not a good idea. It gets more complicated. Bad pun, yellow card reminded me of this. It gets more complicated when you think about a wheel that is lug-centered or hub-centered. I'm pretty sure that these rims are hub-centered wheels, which means that they go on the hub first. The middle part of the, inside, there's the hub part inside. It centers on that, and then the lugs are meant to hold it in place. And then there's other things like some I want to say rotors, but I know I'm effing that up. Some have the lugs actually built into the rotor, So when you mount it, you're actually mounting it onto 5 lugs that are already on the vehicle, and then you put lug nuts on. But these don't have that, so they have lug bolts instead, and you have to use your lug bolts to hold it in place.
I'm imagining this is like one of those things where, you know, like we were just talking about the lights on the motorcycles that are known for being really crappy.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining they'd be like, oh yeah, oh you got a car from them? Yeah. Their wheels fall off sometimes.
Yeah.
They use like a weird connection that doesn't work very well, and the wheels just fall off.
Well, there's like everybody, like car companies are constantly trying unusual things, and there's like was it the Honda Accord? There was a certain model of Honda Accord where they used I forget what they're called again. I always keep screwing this up. They're like inbound brakes. There's a type of brake assembly that you can make that it's not like it's a disc assembly for brakes. So it uses like calipers and pads. It doesn't use a drum like drum brakes do, but they're mounted in an unusual method in that they don't hang on the outside of the disc. They connect through the inside of the disc. And because of that, there's like, where they fit means that they actually contribute to having a better centered amount of weight. It's a great idea. They're a pain in the ass to service because you can't get to the pad easy enough. You have to disassemble pretty much the entire assembly to get to where the pads are. And so as a result, even though it's a great idea from an engineering perspective, it's a poor idea from a serviceability perspective. And people need to service their brakes.
Right,
So it takes a brake job, which is like a $100 thing, to a $400, $500 thing because you have to take all this shit apart and it takes forever.
The eternal push and pull between the serviceability and like engineering.
Yeah. Like I drove my 1980 Plymouth Volare. I could get like shoulder deep into the engine compartment in multiple places. On my 2013 Jetta, there's a plastic cover over top of almost the entire engine that I can't, basically saying, stay out. We do not want you in here. And you can take it off, but they don't want you in there.
It's really strange.
Oh, yeah.
Just somebody, Tivania in the chat says, I had a dream where Bija's eyes could only see in 30 FPS for some reason. I find that difficult to know how that would actually appear. Like if you were used to that, as in like you always saw things at 30 FPS,
Yeah.
I feel like you probably wouldn't know that you had a problem.
No.
Like that would be a really hard thing. Like maybe you would be bad at, picking up on, I don't know, magicians or something.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But like, I feel like that is something that wouldn't actually come up that often.
I mean, it's one of those things where if I was playing a 30 FPS game, but it didn't start at the right time, then would I not see anything at all because the frames would be offset from the frames that I'm processing?
You would see like the blanking interval.
Yeah, I'd see the blanking interval and be like, and I'd have to like reboot the machine and be like, I hope it starts. Okay, it's on time now. So, I mean, it's like the 3D thing for me, right? People say, oh, what about like you can't see in 3D? I'm like, yeah, that means that all of these 3D tricks and everything don't mean anything. So like I can't see the 3DS's 3D effect. I can't see like all the little, I can't go to an IMAX 3D or any sort of 3D production and actually see in 3D because I can't do it. And I thought that would ruin VR for me until Corey had me put on the helmet and try out Job Simulator. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is just everyday life. I'm surrounded by vision and wherever I move my head, so yeah, it's still very immersive.
It still is
so it is virtual reality for you.
Yeah,
it still has the head tracking and everything.
Yeah, everything's still there.
But it didn't. They needn't have bothered with the whole like. They could be showing you the same view in both screens.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't actually be any different. For
exactly.
You.
Well, I mean, there is the difference in that if
Man.
when I swap eyes, it's like I can tell everything's moved slightly, but that's
But that means a VR rig for you would require half the amount of processor power.
Yep.
Because they'll only have to render the scene from one angle.
Essentially, yeah.
Conversely, on the other, when they finally do get eye tracking in the VR dresses, you could actually you could learn to see stereo.
Yeah, and that is the thing that has been brought up too, is that by watching 3D movies, people have corrected their non-3D vision, and their brain locks in and like, oh shit, I see it now.
But they're working on adding eye tracking to VR headsets.
So they're tracking your retina, yeah.
Yeah, as a way to do targeting and
Oh, and position the screens.
and also read your focal length,
Right.
so that they can change which textures are loaded and which can be blurry. But if they can track position, then they can say, okay, well, Beach's left eye is over here most of the time, so we're just going to feed that what a normal person would be seeing.
Yeah, and we're going to actually aim it in this direction so the things actually overlap properly. Yeah, that's right. I had thought about that once. I'm like, that would be really cool. The only place I could see 3D would be in a computer.
Or if they hadn't thought of it, they'll just crash every system that has retina tracking.
There's that too.
Why are these two eyes not? Oh, fuck it.
Yeah,
Crash.
Crash. It's not strabismus, it's esotropia. And I don't know if that means, by calling it esotropia, if that means that it's selective or not by nature, but it is selective in that I can switch which eye I'm looking through, and it causes the other eye to turn in to assist the eye that is currently looking. It shouldn't turn in because it's stupid, but that's the way my body is made.
Strabismus is my favorite high holiday.
It's beginning to look a lot like strabismus.
Yeah, it's there is that thing where, there's a lot of aspects of your vision that, of course, your brain fills in all sorts of details for.
Like the hole in the back of your eye.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of situations where that's why I was saying, like, the 30 FPS view, you probably wouldn't it wouldn't actually cause that much problem because your brain would be filling in various details.
Yeah.
Do the tweening between things and stuff. Motion would probably be a little more blurry than other people, but that would be very difficult to, obviously the whole problem with vision is that it's very difficult to perceive what other people perceive.
Yeah.
And so, like, people can go through their entire lives colorblind and not know it because it doesn't come up.
Yeah, you could just be, your blue might be off by a bit, or the greens you see are not quite as green as everyone else's greens.
But you can't see through their eyes, so you won't know that yours are different.
Yeah, and I know we have standardized tests to figure that stuff out now, but it's also like, that doesn't necessarily mean that if you're only off by a little bit, that's harder to check. No one's checking that by, no one's being like, well, let's make sure your eyes are like the benchmark. It's like, no, we're just, unless you are having that problem. I mean, I guess now they do a lot of colorblind tests to people as part of, like, as you're growing up, they want to see if you're doing colorblind, like if you actually are colorblind or not. But if you're doing colorblind, I think I'm going to do colorblind this year.
I feel like it's probably part. I think they do some of it as part of just like vision checking for, like, glasses for like nearsightedness and farsightedness and that kind of stuff.
Do you have to take one when you're doing a driver's exam? Because I haven't had to do that in a long time.
A which test?
A colorblindness test.
I don't know.
I mean, they probably do a check to see whether you know between a green light and a red light.
I would hope so.
I mean, that would probably come up over the course of the thing.
Oh my goodness! I need a chopstick.
I'm cutting notches into my.
Actually, yeah. Paul, could you get me a chopstick or something?
I promise not to be loud while you're gone.
Yeah.
Have some here in
I'm adding my notches to my nut. And you know what? Given how much work I've put into this, and not knowing anything about what I'm doing,
Yeah.
I can understand why a professional luthier would cost as much as they do. Like, I'm not pretty sure that putting this together is not any easier.
There is an artistry to it, probably. Yeah. I mean, you bring in a thing he's never seen before. I say he, but that they've never seen before, and I'm sure that they look at that and they're like, I can figure this out. I just, it's going to take some time and effort.
Okay. Let's bring it up. So you don't need much in these notches to get them to hold position.
I'm super excited.
Me too.
So now how do you hold it in place? Thank you.
Well, I might have to glue it, but honestly, the pressure should hold most of it in place.
Oh, okay. You just need to tack it, really.
Yeah. Now the question is, do I have a tuner still installed on here?
Panic Fox, I hope you're okay.
Oh,
And don't panic too much. Just obviously, if you have the president's mind to type into chat, my head is bleeding, gotta go. I'm hoping that means that it's not too bad.
yeah. AFK tornado.
Why is the tornado at the keyboard to begin with?
Oops.
There's just like a tornado going through, going across whatever Kansas, the going across the plains, and then just suddenly stops. Everyone was like running away, and just stops and looks back. Just like, oh man, tornado went AFK. All right, let's just wait around.
He's back. Ah!
All right.
We're not going to want to use these chopsticks ever again.
I was assuming that we were not going to be.
Hooray.
Those are disposable chopsticks. You don't use those again after you eat food with them. You certainly aren't going to use them after you clean a rim with them.
It's true. Oh my god. I'm doing a better job on this one than I did on the one I did myself at home. What happened?
Ooh, did I catch you? Nope.
No,
Everything's
okay.
good.
Sorry, cables moved, and I thought the camera was falling on me. Briefly. I thought it was going to happen anyway. Shows what I know. Is that a shadow? Am I polishing off a shadow? When you literally can't tell. Oh dear. Okay, yeah, that's okay.
Let's get some tension on these strings here. I'm about to be very excited if this works.
Yeah, me too. Whoops.
It's not enough tension. Hopefully my grooves are deep enough.
That is going to be a pain if I don't.
The answer is no, they are not. Add a bit more to them. In situ.
Closest experience, Alonzo Swift in the chat says, the closest experience I've had with tornadoes is coming back from somewhere with my dad as a kid. And there was a very weak tornado coming down our driveway.
Wow.
You go, no, we don't want any. Sorry, yeah, next door.
Yeah, try next door.
Yeah, no, you see, yeah, this is a no tornado household, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we've been meaning to put the signs up, but
Ooh.
that's a lot of crud. All right, let's give that a roll.
I hear the tuner and I keep thinking that's the actual.
Oh yeah, me too.
It does kind of sound like the Ian Horner jug band.
I'm also slightly worried because these strings have not seen tension in years.
So they could just snap. Do you want to put your safety glasses on just in case, or?
That's good. That just means they're really relaxed.
All right. I think it's you.
That's good. This is a whole other kind of ASMR going on now. If you could clean the wheel in time with the
I've been
with,
trying
with the bass.
I've been trying to do it in 6/8 time actually.
All right. think I've succeeded, guys.
That's really good news.
Let's see if I can remember how to play something. Anything. Ooh. Ooh, nope. It's been a long time.
Just the time to get back into practice.
Glad to hear you're doing fine, Panic Fox. Oh yeah.
Wow, I am so out of practice, and also everything is sticky in my hands. Also, I think I might want to adjust.
Is that
I mean, this is not
that
Tinker Tailor
sort of
Soldier jazz.
No,
is that buzzing that is that something bad that the strings are doing, or is that like that? Is that intent, or is that something they should be doing, or is that because of the bridge or the nut?
it's actually because I'm playing overly loud so that they can be heard.
Oh, I see.
Normally, this is a
Right,
this is an
it's-
amplified device, but
Right.
Well,
right.
we have a mixer. And we probably have some 1/4-inch cable.
That's true.
I
You
don't know if
definitely
that's,
could plug it in.
we could. I don't know if is it worth it.
I don't know. I mean, I just realized upon saying like shit, in about 15 seconds, the chat's gonna go, yeah!
Play the theme to Fraser. And it's out of tune a bit. I think it's almost there. I feel like I want to take it down just a hair because it feels a bit high.
It's your bass, man.
Yep. Sure is.
Mr. Bassman.
Okay, well that's actually something I can do off camera. But I think I've successfully created a nut and I'm happy with that.
Yay!
That's all I need to say.
Yay!
Bang victory!
Yeah. So, hey, look forward to maybe some bass in the future on further,
It's Ian Horner and bass to the future.
in future Loading Ready Run streams. Especially once I've got some practice in me. And built up those calluses again.
Sweet honky Jesus.
I'm sorry?
I can't believe how clean I'm getting this.
Oh, hey,
Like
that's
it's
great.
it's kind of looking at the one I did before versus the one I'm doing now that I have like some pieces and stuff to deal with. It's like actually maybe I'll oh no, you know, we'll have this right now.
That's some pretty rims right there.
Yeah. It's just a little bit like ugly because it needs to go in some clean water as opposed to this dirty stuff. But what time is it?
So some people wanted a close-up of my nut. Let's give it to them. There you go. In position and not entirely terrible. So the next thing to do is probably do some repair work on the paint, but that will have to figure out how to do that in a way that doesn't F up the instrument itself.
So, from a functional standpoint, the bass is now good to go.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's I
There aren't any other aspects of it that are broken because of the movement stuff.
the only thing that I will need to do is probably grind down the bottom a bit just to get it in, get it tuned in. But we don't need to do that here, which means I can move on to a project number 2, which.
The chat loves your nut.
Thank you, chat. I'm glad that you are approving of the nut. Next up today on Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, we're going to, how best to put this?
Everything's fine.
Okay, good. We're going to undeflate. We're going to inflatable the raptor costume.
Ah. Inflatify.
Yeah, because I understand that the last time that the raptor costume was worn, it was a bit floppy. And that's because it seems to be missing.
Missing its power pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used it once, and then its power pack went missing.
Nobody knows where it is. Well, thankfully, I have extra battery packs.
Battery pack. Where did you go? Battery pack. Nobody knows where you are.
Yeah, luckily it's just a barrel connector thing. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of AC adapters, but they're the wrong side of the.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, you know what this is? This came with all of our LED lights, and we don't use them for anything. And it is a perfect fit.
Does it need a center pin or anything
And
like that?
and that adapts it to what?
That adapts it to just 2 wires. Now, thankfully, when I was building the t-shirt cannon, I ordered a bunch of these AA battery holders.
Oh my goodness!
And people were telling me that this takes, what, 4 AA's?
I believe it originally took 4 AA's. Yes.
This is going to be the easiest project ever. I'm literally just going to have to put these wires into this thing in the right direction, and we're done.
And then glue the battery packs together.
I feel like you maybe should wait until you can say that was the easiest project ever.
So what, 6 volts? Yep, that's 4 AA batteries. Paul, would you
Yes.
mind grabbing me? Wow, you know what? I am the dumbest.
Oh no.
These are 9-volt battery holders,
Oh shit.
What?
which actually would probably work just fine in this, to be honest. The thing wants 6 volts at 0.8 amps. 9 volts probably won't hurt it.
I mean, not for long.
I mean, it's a simple motor. It's not going to be. All that's going to happen is it's going to go faster, right?
That was so fast. Went from easiest project to this probably won't break it.
Will it go faster?
Should. More current, more.
More voltage.
Yeah, but both.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
Let's see here.
Is our dyno gonna like inflate and float away?
I remember one time that I plugged in a 12-volt battery into something, or I'm sorry, I plugged in a 12-volt like fan from a server into something. I forget what it was that I plugged it into, and a lot of sparks came out of the fan, which was weird. And then I never plugged anything in again
Well, let's
in my life.
stay.
I mean, yeah, like the fan literally says 6-volt or 12-volt on it.
It says 6. It says 6 volt.
Okay. Huh.
Do we have extra 9-volt batteries?
9-volt batteries?
Yeah.
I will check.
Thank you.
We could just run down to the local
Battery.
camping emporium and buy a 6-volt battery.
The local.
It would run for 6 days straight, and then and give you a hernia trying to lift it.
Look at the motor. Well, I did look at the motor. The motor says 6 volts. You can underpower a 12-volt fan, no problem. I run a computer fan off 9-volt in a costume all the time. Yeah.
Oh my god, I can read so much. Listen to all these numbers. KBA 41467. I could read that now.
Those are numbers.
Those are numbers. Even some of them are letters.
There's 2 batteries here that I'm assuming. I don't know if it's a smart assumption, but I'm assuming that somebody wouldn't have put these back if they were dead.
If they were
Oh,
bad.
well.
I mean, I think that's a perfect assumption.
So
you.
we've got those.
Should I go dump this water and start fresh and see what happens?
You know what? That's probably not a bad idea.
Great.
Do you want to keep polishing for another 10 minutes?
Are we almost done?
We're almost at another
I mean, we
break
can
point.
take it.
Yeah, okay.
Whenever.
I can play around a little bit more.
true.
Though I am, it's curious to me. Where do I dump this that doesn't get me in trouble?
There's a toilet that has some very suspect fluids in it already, so
We could try that, yeah.
you might want to go to the
That's not our toilet.
the right-hand one on the men's side.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea.
All right. So, actually, let's test it out here to make sure that we've got voltage.
90% of this is carbon, right? It's just carbon.
Yeah.
I remember many years ago when we were in the Moonbase 2, I guess it was, or Moonbase 1 or 2, we had painted the green screen wall. And it's with it's like a, I guess it's like a latex paint or whatever. Like it's a, it's not a, it's just a ordinary paint, not super, it's not like it's super toxic or anything, right? And so, but it's that thing where you're like washing off the brushes afterwards. And you feel like a Captain Planet villain because it's like bright red, bright green.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, yes, I am pouring all of this evil green stuff.
Take that, Planeteers.
It's plummeting sloth. I mean, most of benzene is carbon. How harmful could it be?
Or you can just take it outside like the rest of the car places around here.
Yes. I mean, Emonotny mentions that asbestos brakes haven't been a thing for decades, which is true. But these wheels have been around for decades, so who knows what I scrubbed off of them.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. Asbestos brakes haven't been around since the 80s. Oh, wait. I mean, and then, even then, only really in West Germany, no.
Oh, damn.
No. We
Well-
may have a problem here. All right, so let's screw these in. Make sure the terminals are good. And this one goes in here. These adapters,
Yeah.
the wire to barrel connectors, have come in handy for a number of projects already.
Yeah, they're handy for everything except the actual lights that they came with.
Yeah, we did not need them for that.
Well, oddly enough, I will be using another one of them for the next project.
Oh, good.
Should we have time for it? All right, let's see.
So, yeah. So the situation is that you feel that a 9-volt battery won't harm it.
Not on something simple like a fan like this. I don't think we're overvolting it by enough to cause a problem.
And following these, and the suggestion of somebody in the chat to open the battery and reduce it to 6 volts would cause more problems than it solves, I think.
I don't think that would actually work at all.
Fascinating idea, though.
Take out 2 of the volts.
I mean, if you open up a 9-volt battery, isn't it 6 quadruple A batteries?
Yes?
Yes.
6 1.5 volt batteries. Yeah.
So you take out 2 of them, and you're down to 6. You just have to rewire it to, which is a stupid idea also, because then you put this weird 9-volt-esque battery back in.
Also, then we don't have a holder for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you keep all the batteries loose in the holder, I guess.
Okay, that's working.
How hot is it getting? Is it heating up?
I mean, it's also a fan, so presumably it's... Yeah, there is the point that
It's fine.
not only do we want this to not burst into flames, but theoretically, as if this was working, then in a working situation, somebody is actually inside this costume.
I like that you said theoretically someone's inside this costume. By usage, by practice, someone's
Yeah.
inside this costume.
I'm saying
a
like it's a what you would call a mission critical safety situation.
Yeah.
It's not just like we're making like we've got those inflatable Santas that just kind of inflate and sit there.
Yeah.
We know what the great part about this battery pack?
I'm more concerned about the safety when there's actually somebody inside the costume that can't get out quickly.
We could run it for an afternoon and see if it causes a problem. But the nice thing about this is the battery pack also has a switch on it.
Hey, nice. I wonder if the original had that.
Who knows? Well, there we go. That's project 2 done.
Wow. Done and done. We have resurrected our raptor.
Our raptor can once again roar free.
Who knows when it will show up again?
Also, pretty sure it's a T-Rex. Wasn't it a T-Rex costume?
I don't know. I've never seen it fully inflated.
I guess it was more like a T-Rex than a raptor.
Isn't a raptor just an underinflated T-Rex anyway?
I mean, maybe.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. You can't
feel
prove
like-
it's not what it sounds like.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
what I
like
learned.
there's a lot of things about dinosaurs that we can't prove definitively. Whether or not they were inflatable might be one of the things that we do know.
Did they have feathers? Who can say? Were they inflated? No.
No.
I mean, I'm not an expert on these things, so I'll have to bow to the experts there.
Dr. Ian Malcolm. Well, my name is Ian, so there we go. I'm an expert.
He wasn't even a dinosaur expert.
Knowledge finds a way, Beach.
That is a good point. If the polarity was flipped, would it become a dinosaur vacuum suit?
Oof. That's someone's fetish.
Would it become a suit that just makes you into a dinosaur, a person-shaped dinosaur?
Just a human wearing a dinosaur skin?
Yeah. Also, then it would suck all the air out of the suit,
Which, again,
which is what we were talking. You know, that's why I would do dinosaur. But then you are also inside the suit.
so you'd be,
Now you have no air.
you'd be well preserved, but much like a dinosaur. Full circle.
All right, let's stand that back in there one more time.
All right. Well, I think at this point it's probably a good time for us to take our second break, and then we'll be back for one more project at least here on Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry. Don't go away.
Alrighty.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Soldier Fry here on the Mighty Loading Ready Live Video Entertainment Network. I'm Ian,
I'm Beach.
and we are mopping up old projects and mopping up old wheels.
Yeah.
Boy, that's disgusting.
What?
My
gloves?
The wheels themselves.
Oh, the fact that they're, I mean, that's pretty goddamn clean.
They're getting there.
Like, I am shocked at how good this looks so far. That's real good.
Considering the state of the water that you.
Oh yeah, it was, wow. Then when I poured this thing out, there were solids.
Ugh.
Like, gathered solids that were sitting at the bottom. I had to rinse it out twice to get everything out of it.
Oof.
Yep.
That does not sound like a good time. So, Graham's tasked me a while back with getting these things installed, or getting these things to run off of mains power somehow.
Oh yeah.
So you can see there, yeah. For those of you who have noticed them, and they were, I guess they may have been more prominent in the old set, but the LRR lights in the corner there, and they're battery powered.
Yep.
And of course, completely unexpectedly, they were left on many times.
How about that?
We would turn them on for AFK or whatever, and then forget to turn them off. And as you might guess, the battery eventually ran down in them. And so we were like, hey, if we just plug them in, then that won't be a problem.
Yeah.
We'll just waste lots of electricity instead of wasting batteries.
Or we could run them off of the overhead lights. Same plug,
That's true.
right?
Then they would turn off by themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be something that would be great. So I'm trying to figure out what sort of voltage these things are putting out, and the answer is
None.
elusive.
Oh
No voltage.
Now we're getting a signal, but okay, 2.6, 2.5.
Ian, these wheels could have been this clean the entire time I owned my car.
Wow.
Holy Jesus.
Is it just taking it right off?
It's just more stuff's coming off of it the more I keep touching it. It's like, oh, hey, how about this? Did you want this gone? This has been here forever. I'm like, oh my God. Sorry, I'm just really excited. Back to you.
No, that's all right. Now I'm. So 1.5 is 2. So that's just. It's just. I don't think it's stepping it down at all. In these things. I think these are just in series. If I remember, if I'm thinking correctly. Let's find out. Sometimes you can look things up, and sometimes you can just find out for yourself. Make the batteries touch. Okay, so these are in series then. So I just need to find a way of giving these 2.5-ish, 2.5 to 3 volts.
Well, we have those 9-volt batteries.
We do, but
That is too much.
Yeah.
Wait, also the whole point was to put it on in the AC power.
yeah, and I understand that these are LEDs, so I don't think we want to overdrive them too much.
They'll be so bright though. Briefly.
Yes, and then not at all for the rest of their lives.
Doesn't the bulb that burns twice as bright also burn out twice as fast? Isn't that something we've all learned?
Yes, but that was back in the days when aphorisms were easy to say, and
Yeah.
and
In
light
the
bulbs
time
were
of
all
LEDs,
incandescent.
it's the bulb that burns twice as bright burns not really, really fast and gone.
Yeah.
It kind of flashes a bit or not at all, and then it's just dead.
Yeah, which doesn't make a really good
Set dressing.
yeah. There's somebody in the chat suggested that you might be able to pop the center cap out of the.
I absolutely can. Not going to bother, but
Okay.
I absolutely can.
100% possible and not going to happen.
Well, there's no real point because there's not much going on the inside that needs to get cleaned up. It's a little rusty. Like you can see on the thing that it's rusty around whatever, right? The dark whatever, that's just all rust. I could try to take that off. I don't really care if I do. And I can pop the center cap off, but there's nothing in there that's collected brake dust wise. It's not that dirty.
Okay, sorry, can you just talk some more? Just put your head right in the.
Oh, just so if you look inside, there's not a lot of dust that's collecting around in that area. There's not a lot of dust that's collecting around, like enough that it makes sense for me to clean that out. I still feel like I could take out some of these corners, or rather, I could probably just, I could probably take the chopstick to some of those little corners that are still full of crud. But for the most part, I'm going to try concentrating on using the magic eraser right now.
Okay, that just sounds funny.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Broadcasting live from inside a tin can.
Hey, it's Beach. All right. Figured we might have some wire here. We have the appropriate connectors. I found my garbage from when I was making those SDI cables,
That's good.
so that's useful. Okay. Well, these want pins. We don't have pins. What can we do instead that will make...
Is that now? There's a suggestion from the chat. I don't know if this is at all practical.
Mm-hmm.
Saying USB outputs 5 volts, and split that across 3 letters.
Yep. Yep, that's actually, I think, what we may end up doing here.
Do each of them need 5 volts?
Now, each of them takes 2.5 volts. Or 3 volt. Yeah, 3 volts. 2.5 is just all that was coming out of this at the time.
Right. Huh. Okay.
Let's see. I might not have what I need to do this today. Which would be unfortunate, but not the first time that we've been unable to complete project, but that's okay. That's not the only thing I brought along to work on today.
Clearly, we need more little bits of wire. We don't have enough here in the office.
God damn it, no.
I've got stranded copper wire here. I think, yeah, what I'm going to want to do for this. So yeah, I've actually got a right here. It outputs a 0.15 amp, or sorry, no, it outputs 5 volts at 1 amp, which seems to be what we probably want for this.
Okay.
But
You can't just connect them together, right?
I'd be worried about that. Split across 3.
I certainly don't want to do anything that you would be worried about.
Yeah, I'm going to actually think about that a bit more and come back with some connectors for that one. So let's call that one a bust project for the day. But what to do next? Let's put this back and then we'll get into my bag of tricks. Oop. You turn off now. And you stay up here because you might be useful in the future.
See, now I'm just curious to know what these would look like laser cleaned. Thanks, Real Gamer Cow.
I legitimately did not know that you could clean things with lasers. Like, is that just burning the stuff off?
Yes. You should really watch some, when you get a chance, Paul, look up laser cleaning on YouTube and just watch lasers, like watch rust evaporate off of something.
Is there anything that lasers can't do?
Well, science hasn't figured it out yet. Wait, is love really what they can't love?
I'm pretty sure you really shouldn't use a laser to love.
Okay.
We are working on that technology.
Our ray shielding can't repel love of that magnitude. All right. Well, you know what? Let's end off the day with some soldering.
Always your favorite thing to do.
It's a thing that we can do. Corey's told me that this XLR cable doesn't work, so let's resolder the ends of one of them. And for bonus solder fun, this was plugged in. This is a headset. It was plugged into the computer, and then the cord was tripped upon. And then the USB bit came off. So we'll need to put the USB bit back on the circuit board inside of that. So those should take us time.
Oh, it's just it doesn't have the split. It's just a USB headset.
Yeah, it's just a USB headset that split right at the USB solder point. So let's see if we can find out where the problem is on this cable, first of all. Usually it's on these ends, I find. So let's crack her open and see what it looks like inside. Let's put another... The nice thing about audio cables like these is that they're pretty much infinitely repairable as long as you still have cable left.
You just chase it all the way down.
Are there, especially in this situation where it's like an audio cable, are there concern? I guess things you have to keep in mind in order to avoid doing something to create interference on the cable, or
Not really. I mean, I'll show you once we get in there, but these are very simple.
I guess as long as you don't like short circuit two of the wires or something.
Yeah, in which point you have not fixed the cable properly.
Right. The cable either works, or I mean, I guess it's work or it's broke.
It either works properly as an XLR microphone cable, it doesn't work at all, or it becomes a DMX cable.
Yeah.
Somehow growing a 4th pin.
Oh no, we have 3-pin ones.
Yeah, DMX can be 3, 4, or 5 pin.
No.
And a 3-pin DMX cable is actually just an XLR cable.
Yeah.
Just cheaper.
But don't
and
tell its family.
crappier quality.
Yeah, it has way less shielding.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
So we're going to use the other soldering iron because my other one is currently at home. Okay, so this is a XLR cable. Note that there is not much to it. Wow, this one did not get very well crimped.
Oh, there's your problem.
Well, I don't know if it is actually. Everything looks like it's pretty solid, but let's just check the other side just in case.
This is the kind of thing I need to hire out in the Mechanical Turk for.
I don't think you can get Mechanical Turk to do like physical things.
What about Fiverr?
Yeah.
I think everybody on Fiverr likes to do shit without sleeping, right? That's what the advertising's telling me. Do you think I can get someone to polish my rims for 24 hours straight? I shouldn't maybe ask. Need go-getter to polish rim for 24 hours.
Yeah, that would that'll get you exactly the kind of person that you're looking for.
Need smart, energetic go-getter for small rim job. Inquire within.
Okay, so let's have a look here at this these cables. Not much to them, as you can see. They're literally just connectors on the end of cables. So we're gonna snip them off, maybe about part way down there.
What's nice is that you can reuse the connectors.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna just do both sides just to make sure that it's consistent.
I mean, the chances of the fault being at the connector as opposed to somewhere randomly down the length of the cable is much higher. Right?
Well, yeah, there's not much to these connectors. This is just a literal piece of, this is a solid piece of metal that's going from here through a piece of plastic to here where it is soldered to the wire. Mm-hmm. And on the other end, you're looking at through there are these inserts that are, again, solid pieces of wire that are going through the inside and then popping out in here. And we're just going to...
But yeah, so but if you replace both ends, that should be like theoretically the fault could be somewhere along the cable, not to do at the ends, but the chances are it's something to do at the end.
Exactly, and it doesn't take very long to actually get these swapped out. So we'll use our good friend the solder sucker.
First time I ever did soldering, my dad was like, "Here, fix your guitar cable," and I'm like, "Oh."
Oh no!
How? He's like, solder it. How?
Apply heat.
Yeah, there was no, I was not given a firm direction that. By the way, you'll have to you apply heat to the wire, and then touch the solder to the wire. And I'm like, oh, I literally thought it's like, apply heat to the connector where it goes. Touch some solder onto the wire so it spills all over the fucking place. That was a good project.
You learned a lot.
I learned a lot.
Did you fix your cable?
I did eventually fix the cable because he had to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me let you in on how this works."
The cable ended up about 3 feet shorter than it was before.
Oh no! I mean, he saw I was having trouble and he came over and he says, "Okay, you don't do it like that. You do it like this." I'm like, "Ah, okay. I understand."
Dad.
I think he assumed that I might have already figured it out or known or something, and I was like, well.
Like, what do they teach you in that school of yours?
You were born knowing how to solder, right?
Well, he must have thought I watched him do it before or something, I guess. But, yeah.
I'm less a fan of this particular soldering iron just because it doesn't have a thing to go into. I have another one of those.
That's a different soldering iron than you've had before.
Yes, it is, because my Power Fist one I took home to do this very task and didn't do.
And then brought it in to do here.
Yep. But I figured, hey, let's use the other soldering iron that was given to us by our fans. I believe it was Hosk who sent in this particular set.
Was it? I know Tex and Reverend sent a bunch of stuff too. I can't. I'm sorry that I can't keep all of your lovely gifts straight.
You're all too kind.
Also, yeah, I won't talk about that actually. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Fucking enough. Give money, please.
Now, here's something I should have done before just going gung-ho,
Yeah.
is paid attention to which of these cables goes to which pin.
Oh. So you have to tone them out?
Usually I will, usually I'll take a picture before doing that, but you know what, we can just,
Well, it'll be the same on the other side, won't it?
yeah.
Somebody go back and look at the replay.
So just take the other end off and have a
Well,
look.
yeah, they're both disconnected.
No, I mean on the other end of the pin. Oh, sorry. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'll just go back to what I was doing.
That's okay. Thankfully they're numbered, so it's not difficult. We just can arbitrarily choose which one we want to be which.
Is it not a? Is there? There's not a standard in this case.
There might be, but I don't think there needs to be for what we're doing.
Hey, chances are good you'll just luck upon it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The
There we go. So inside there, you can see we've got a big old copper strand, some string. You know, if you need small bits of string, you can just go inside your XLR cable and borrow it from there. It's not just string, it's everything. It's waterproof.
It's like, what? It's like, why is there string in an XLR cable? String is useful, you know? You can tie little packages up and do all sorts of things. The
Attaching nose to pigeon's legs.
Yeah, the people who made the XLR cable standard originally, or just thought that people making XLR cables might like to have a little bit of string extra.
Yeah. Destroying household pests.
We
All
were
right.
fans too.
Orion's Rise says, make sure you clean the valve stem hole, which is directed at me.
Yes.
Yes. No.
So, Beej,
I mean, the fact that I have a valve stem already in it at this point, I don't really want to remove it and dick around with it. I'm just going to leave it.
what if you, in terms of for advertising this, what if you clean one and then Photoshop it 4 times, like duplicate it 4 times?
Well, literally,
You will get 4 of this quality or better.
I have the thing is as clean as this one is. What I would probably just end up doing is taking a picture of this one, how clean it is, and they're all going to be in blue bags anyway, and then just stack them one on top of each other and say, look, you get 4. Here's a picture. Here's a picture of one of them.
Now imagine what they'd all look like
If you spent some time cleaning them. What's rough? This one has a big frickin' gouge, in the outer rim, which sucks a bit. Let's see if I can show it to you.
somewhere near the Dagobah system.
Yeah, just around the outer rim in the Dagobah system. See if I can even find it. Where the hell is it? Oh, I was looking right at it.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was looking right at it. So right here, where my finger is hovering, there's a big frickin' gouge. So we're going to move my finger away, and you're going to see where it is. See that?
So it's just like a little rock or something hit the thing.
Oh, that was probably me grinding this on a curb or something. Remember, no depth perception, right?
Now you could polish that out as well.
I'm imagining the Craigslist.
I mean, I could grind it out.
Yeah.
Imagine it's like Craigslist ad, 4 rims for sale.
Never worn.
No, only driven occasionally by a man with no depth perception.
Yeah, you figure what out that means.
Well, have I told you how much polishing I did on my bike?
For sale, car shoes never worn.
And grinding of forks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big chunk missing from the edge of the rim, and while I could probably grind that until it was smooth, I mean, all that would do is just grind it until it was smooth. It's already kind of smooth as it is.
Then you go in with the polishing compounds of various degrees.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think it would like this. So this entire edge, it's about 10 centimeters worth of. I'm sorry. It's about 25 centimeters worth of ground edge, and I'm like, yeah, I could probably polish that until it was nice and smooth. But the chunk that's missing would be kind of impossible to disguise. It would just mean everything else was smooth around the chunk. And I kind of like, bucket. I think there's a lot of them out there that are also in worse condition. So this probably is just average. Also, it's none of the other ones are, I think, is in as bad shape. This might have been the worst one.
I'd also like to point out that Smooth Around the Trunk is the name of my Hero Quest cover stream.
Are cover streams a thing?
They could be.
All right. Do I put more Simple Green on this just to slough it off?
Yeah, that's one in there.
Yeah, there you go. Fill the gap. Fill the little thing with putty and spray paint it
Aluminum.
silver.
Yeah. No one will know.
Just get that like like the drywall filler stuff.
We literally there is an automotive product called JB Weld that I could probably use to make that nice and smooth again.
Would you like some? I've got it here.
Yeah, right. I could just use some JB Weld to fill in the gap, but I don't think I will.
It also doesn't look good.
There's so many. Like when I started working on my car, I realized there was just so much crazy shit. That things you can use to put your car back together.
Oh yeah, there's no end to it.
Oh, I know. And the when I remember when I cracked up the Volare. Mm-hmm. Of course you do. You're in the back seats at 97 kilometers an hour.
That was scary.
So the car itself is made almost entirely of steel, except for the front headlight bucket, in that it was made of fiberglass, and that was I never replaced it ultimately. And it's like we could have pounded out steel, we could have got back whatever, but ultimately I wanted to get the headlight bucket replaced, and I found one to replace it, which was hard to do because the 1980 was a very specific model with a very specific headlight bucket. It was the last year they made the Volare too, so they redesigned it all for 1980 and then shit canned the car, and I never got it repainted, so I drove around with this big fiberglass cracked up looking thing on the side of my car, which kind of sucked, but whatever. But it did put me in mind of fiberglass is a thing on vehicles, and people do it all the time. Like this was from the factory. This was not Bondo.
And as much as we wish it wasn't,
yeah.
it's
Well, and like all the like we were talking earlier about all the various products in the automotive care thing, right?
Yeah.
You put enough of that kind of stuff on. You get your new paint job, do the thing, and you don't know what's underneath there, right?
No.
Like it could be just fiberglass or Bondo or JB Weld or whatever.
It could be woven grass for all we know.
But then it's all nice and smoothed out and has a coat of paint on top of it. I mean that's why they have the that's why you have all the papers about what accidents a car has been in and stuff, right?
I'm finding out who all the old people are in the chat. This is awesome.
who recognizes the term Volare?
Stug Life knew the Plymouth Volare. Emu on the Loose had one as their first car.
To be fair though, I knew a guy in university who was quite a bit younger. He was a couple of years younger than me, and he drove around in a Lincoln Continental.
Ooh,
Nice.
with the suicide doors that
No,
open backwards.
No, he didn't have the suicide doors,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, it was as you might imagine, very, very, very old.
Yes.
And but I'm pretty sure with the money he spent on gas for that car, he could have easily bought another car.
Oh yeah. We had a friend in university, Jason Marco, who was my mechanic. He and his family knew a shit ton about vehicles. They were mechanics, all of them it seemed, and he helped me work in the Volare, which is great. And I went out they had 5 or 6 Fireflies, Pontiac Fireflies, and they didn't even buy the Chevy Sprint, which was the
they
companion.
love the Firefly.
They love the Firefly. They even his brother Roy had a Firefly with the drop top and the turbo in it, which I was like, Jesus, because they're really cheap on gas and whatever. But he's like, oh yeah, look at come check out the car I just got, and it was a 70s era Chrysler Newport, which was as long as 3 Fireflies. It's like, I understand when we would watch MST3K, when we watch Mitchell, it's like, oh, the 19 whatever Chrysler Imperial, the car thinks is a house, and I'm like, this thing thinks it's a mansion. I'd never seen a car this long before that wasn't stretched. Like you could literally lie 3 people down in the trunk widthwise. The back seat was as wide as a sofa. Like I'm like, this is what you smuggle people to the drive-in in. And it's like, it's a very plush ride. And it's just, well, I mean, when you get back on the road, it will be, because it was like not in great condition. But yeah, he was like, I can't wait to get this thing back together. I was like, ah, Christ.
It's like at some point you gotta put like the bendy thing from like a bus in the middle of it. You know, go around corners.
Like a bendy bus. Okay, time to test continuity.
Doo-doo-doo. I guess you could have done that while it was like together, to see if it was continuous.
Probably, but you know, then you'd have to bend the cables to find out where
Right,
it's.
right.
Yeah. Okay, and then I need to do the other one in the same way. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Good, and this one. Just fine. Okay, that's
Nice.
one side. Seal it up.
Does it just make no noise if it's not working?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's literally just a is there a contiguous circuit?
I wanted to just, it's like beep, beep, boop.
What on earth does that mean?
All right. Oh no. Gotta yank it back out.
All right.
Then push it back in.
This thing needs a decent rinse, I think. Maybe I can polish that too.
I made the mistake of melting some of the plastic on the edge of the thing, so I gotta shave it down now.
That's nice, actually.
Remember when I said there wasn't going to be much detail work?
Yeah.
I was not lying because I didn't think there would be.
So
It wasn't technically a lie.
you were mistaken.
Yeah.
I got so mad at when I popped my valve stem. I broke my valve stem on these.
Wait.
Ooh.
Put the wrong side on the wrong side of the cable.
Oh no.
Which, it's fine, it's fine. I can still do that. I just have to, like, I haven't soldered both sides yet. So I have to slide this end all the way off.
Awesome.
But now the cable's gonna be backwards.
Oh
All
no.
your music is gonna come out the wrong way.
Also, I can't solder this up because if I do that, then I won't know which cables to put in which positions. So
Could you write it down, or take a picture?
I could, or I could just not button it up yet. I think that's what I'll do. It's just not screw it in. Okay, so that goes there, like that. This goes here, and now we cut some of this off. Yep. Find the.
I'd like to clean that up a
Oh.
bit if I could.
Goodbye.
Can I? I'm just wondering if I can actually clean off this one little area. Just trying to see if it's actually lifting stuff away or not. Because now that Orion's was like, clean the valve stem hole, I'm like, nope, and I'm like, well, actually.
But what if clean valve stem hole?
But what if clean valve stem hole, and actually I can take a bit of this stuff around it away, so that's not so bad. When I got these, they all had really nice, I thought anyway, because I'd never seen this before. They had really nice solid valve stems instead of rubber valve stems.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I really liked it, and I hung aftermarket TPMS sensors on the valve stem, which you have to then also rebalance the wheel because it's now this big thing. And I like doing that. It gave me it came in handy one time because it turned out I was losing air in a tire at very slowly, but I noticed it, and when driving along on the highway one time, I'm like, oh shit, and was able to take care of that. So I'm like, it came in handy the one time, but as a result, they would get caught on stuff, every so often and get torn off when I would pull up to the like a curb,
Yes, I remember that.
and it tore the fucking valve stem right out of the wheel because it just broke off. And I was like, well, that sucks. And so I went to Canadian Tire to get them replaced, replacing the one wheel, and I'm like, I need a new valve stem. They're like, sure. And when I got it back, I have these beautiful chrome valve stems on 3 of my wheels, and one big black, like just this awful wart on my wheel and they put in like the longest one they could get, and I was like, what is this? And they're like, well, it's your valve stem. I'm like,
Is it?
right? You didn't see the other ones on my vehicle? It's fine. It's fine. And so I left without that. And the next time I had like a problem or when I had to get my tires changed or whatever, I asked the dude, hey, can you replace that with the chrome, the nice? And he's like, oh, like a solid valve stem. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's no problem. I said, does it cost extra? He's like, nah, it's the same price as getting a rubber one. I'm like, then why would they? I don't know why they would do that to you, actually, dude. I don't know why they did that. I think it was just like that's the first thing they had online, and they didn't even bother checking. So
They hate you.
wherever it was that I went, they just weren't thinking, and I was like, oh Christ. So it was nice. Well, either I rinse these off. I mean, they have a bit of simple green on them still. I mean, I should probably rinse them off. They probably shouldn't sit with even the littlest bit of simple green on them.
Do it right.
I need to do it right? Okay.
It's the Tinker Tailor sort of fry philosophy.
Do it as right as you can.
Do it right.
At least once. Not necessarily the first time, not the last time, but at least once.
Yeah.
Just to
For God's sakes, just get it right at least once.
just to prove to yourself
Yeah.
you can. Okay, it looks like 3 is what I gave to my white wire. So let's...
Thanks, Osk.
Yep.
Also, I totally believe that it's a great, like when I have a kid, if I don't give them the car that I have, which I probably wouldn't, like I probably wouldn't buy a new one at some point, but I totally believe that it's like, if I have a teenager who shows a passing interest in like doing nerdy shit, I totally want to give them a car they can actually work on and be like, here's a little car for you. You wanted a car, so I'm buying you a car, I guess. You fucking spoiled prick.
You're a very nice father.
All of a sudden, right? So here's this car for you. I love you very much. And you're going to need to figure out how to take care of it and do all the things to it, just so that they have a passing knowledge of this is what goes on. Because, oh man, did I learn a lot about my Volare in the first 3 years I owned it. Holy shit.
I like that you already present your hypothetical child.
For making me spend all this money on them, right?
Yeah. You'd be like, hey kid, I have these 2 rims that are still dirty.
Yeah, I need you to polish them. I haven't sold them yet.
Here's something for you to work on.
This is your inheritance.
I've carried them around for 35 years. Now little man. Wait, hang on. And now, little man, I give the wheels to you.
That one looks good too. And by looks good, I mean it's there.
People, I don't think people appreciate how much mouth skill is involved in soldering.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't. Until just recently. Oh, that means number 2 is the exposed cable. Is it? It is. Go through the hole, little one.
I appreciate that you've got you got that plastic piece around the solder there.
Oh? Oh yeah, this...
Yeah.
I would not be... I would not put raw solder to my mouth.
I saw a I saw a video not that long ago that was just an interview with Steve Wozniak, and talking about the creation of the Apple II and all this kind of stuff, and it was just sort of a bit of a puff piece because I guess it was some
Oh, yes,
anniversary or something.
the iPhone 10X is coming.
Yeah, and he was sort of showing all the different stuff and all about how all the fancy, all the stuff. Because I mean, the original Apple, like the Apple II and the Apple stuff that he, designed the circuit boards for that basically by hand. And while he was just talking to the, to the reporter, he just ended up doing a little bit. He was just doing a little bit of soldering.
Oh,
But with the line of solder just held between his teeth.
Jesus.
Whatever lead solder.
I guess, if your teeth, you're fine. Just brush your teeth after you're done. I guess.
That's the thing where the reporter says, "Isn't that dangerous?" And he's like, "Is it? Shit. Yes, it is.
I forget. I have lead poisoning.
God, this is how you're gonna be."
Okay, that's good. 3 is also good, and number 1 is we have a good cable.
Yay!
Hey, if lead poisoning gets you to become Steve Wozniak, that ain't so bad,
Yeah, I've never been on Dancing with the Stars.
His greatest achievement.
I invented personal computers. Also, I danced one time.
Now watch me dance.
Did you win? Oh, Lord, no. Don't know why my Steve Wozniak sounds more like Bill Gates.
This kind of works, but I'll be here for days.
Well, I mean,
Cleaning.
I'm using the edge of a bamboo chopstick to grind off the stuff that is so heavily pitted it just won't come off on its own.
That's like one of those one of those like pick up this pile of sand using this pair of tweezers.
Yeah.
Clean this. Clean these rims using only this chopstick.
It's those of you with blue usernames.
and if
Grind my rim with this chopstick. Peace.
and if you need more time, Beach, you can always come back for one more tomorrow.
Oh, for God's sake. On one more tonight, Beej continues to grind his rim.
Actually, my favorite other Steve Wozniak story is that he carries around pieces or perforated money, sheets of perforated money.
I love that.
He has he buys money
Sheets, full
sheets like full sheets of like $20 bills
Like you guys would buy magic cards.
from the mint.
Which you can just do.
Yeah, which you can do.
Yeah.
And then goes to a print shop and gets them like perforated. And then he pays for things by just like tearing off a piece and giving it to people.
Like tickets at Chuck E. Cheese, which I'm led to believe from the chat he also invented.
Yeah, just to fuck with people.
That's wonderful. That is
Yeah.
what a lovely thing to do to improve people's days.
Yeah.
Give people a perforated 20.
Because you'd be like, there's no way this is real, sir. It's like, I'm Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
I carry enough segways in my car to play polo with. Yes, that is also a thing that Steve Wozniak does.
I did not know you could do that. Yes. Most people don't know you can do that, which is why he enjoys doing it and messing with people.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it's extremely cost ineffective
Oh, sure.
in the sense that I'm sure he's paying more than the dollar value of what's on the sheet.
That is like Willy Wonka whimsy is what that is.
Let's break it down, because I'm pretty sure that the Mint cannot charge you more for a sheet than they are worth.
I mean, our mint can charge you a lot more for a coin than it's worth.
If it's considered a collector's item.
Yeah, if it's considered a collector's item.
All right.
But if it's just an uncut 20 sheet. And judging from my time at Staples, it wouldn't... You're probably looking at just $1 or $2.
To get it perforated?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to feed that into your perforation machine, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
It is a machine that does it, right?
honestly, he probably also does his own perforations at this point.
Can you imagine if they fuck it up and they're off? They're like, sorry, sir. He's like, you put it right through Hamilton's head.
I'm having words with Tim Cook right now. You will never use another Apple product again.
Is Hamilton on the 20?
The
Who's on the 20? Benjamin Franklin?
Murasaki Shikibu.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. That's right, because they don't use the 20s in Japan anymore because they're sexist.
I'm pretty sure Benjamin's on the 100.
Is Franklin on
The
the 100?
$10 founding father.
Oh, it's Jackson on the 20, right?
Yeah.
Because he's the
And
shitbag.
he's got the huge hair.
Right, the shitbag is on the 20.
And if you're going to be all about one of the nominations, you want it to be the 100, so you can be all about the Benjamin.
That's right.
Should we put Benjamin Sisko in the 100? Oh man, let's put Star Trek captains on our money.
I mean, we're putting them on our stamps.
Yeah.
We should put them on our money. We could easily, you could put Shatner on like the 50 or something, and everyone would be a lot happier.
You put Shatner on the one. Like,
Yeah.
You put him on the base currency.
That's good. Print some more dollar bills and put Shatner on them.
He's the first one. Mm-hmm. Like the Archer goes on the $1 coin in America.
So that nobody ever sees him.
Yep.
That's cold. That's cold. Nimoy is on the 5.
I'd be down with that. Yeah, Nimoy's on the 5, and you literally just use Sir Wilfrid Laurier from Canada,
Yeah,
done up as a Spock.
yeah, that's good. We've got your Spock then. He was a captain at some point.
Yep.
Yep.
Picard on the 20, I think.
Yeah. I mean, in Canada, I think I'd want Janeway on the 20 actually, because it'd be weird having not a lady on the 20.
Oh, wait, no. In Canada, we put Picard on the 50 because of the red.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now
Or
that-
or
now
on
I'm-
the 100 because Borden's also bald, isn't he?
True.
I bet you could
Borden wasn't
switch
bald. Wait, no.
the Queen for Janeway
No one.
on a 20, and a lot of people would not notice.
Yeah.
Because especially with like if it's with version of her with like her hair kind of up in the bun.
Yeah. yeah.
People just don't look that closely. Dear.
I need an adhesive. I don't want to use Gorilla Glue.
We have other adhesives in the equipment room. We have white glue, we have wood glue, and we have super glue.
Can we get some super glue in here?
Duct tape.
You want me to go fetch you some super glue?
If you would, please.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm just letting my wheel sit for no real reason. I think I should probably take it out, but I gotta rinse it. I should figure out a way how to rinse it so I don't have to like drag it out of here again. But I have to dump that anyway, so I don't know what the hell.
It's interesting that this board is pretty much the entire circuitry, I think, for this headset.
Oh really? It's more than just a USB thing.
Somebody stole the super glue.
Well, then.
And the wood glue. Why?
All right. Now we'll just look around for things that are glued.
Yeah, they're particularly well glued. I literally do not get actually why.
I can't answer that for you either.
Somebody has sticky fingers.
Oh. Very good.
Here, I brought you some glue.
Hey, thanks. Keep telling people we have that.
I'll keep looking.
Liquid adhesive.
It doesn't say glue, right?
A quick way to bond many types of materials. That'll do.
Sure, don't be picky.
What type of meat? Glue ingredients: polyvinyl acetate, polyvinyl alcohol, water. That sounds good.
Okay.
Doesn't smell enough though.
So you can tell it's real good glue. If it has to be used in a fume hood, that's the ideal glue.
Spread that around a bit.
I mean, could I get you some Velcro or zip ties?
That will not help.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, though.
I'm a fixer.
Yeah, Velcro the USB.
You should use electrical tape. That stuff holds everything in place. I bought 4 rolls of multicolored electrical tape, and it doesn't even stick to itself. Like, I think I might have just bought I think I just might have bought flagging tape.
It's not actually sticky.
Oh, it's sticky the moment you unpeel it, and the moment you unpeel it, it's like, I'm free as the wind, and it just doesn't stick to anything anymore.
So it's sticky enough to maintain itself in a roll,
Yeah,
and that's it. That is the extent of its stickiness.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I just need this to be in place long enough to solder it in. So that's going to be an interesting one. Oh, no, wait. You know what? I can just do this.
Okay, let's just get you on top.
It's true that 3M electrical tape. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it tastes great.
Well, that's filling.
I hope there are people in the chat who get that reference. Like,
If you have the right licenses, you can get some pretty cool epoxies. Yeah. As soon as you have to start needing licenses, that's when the good stuff happens. If there's a reasonable chance of you losing use of a limb if you get glue on it, that's what you want. That's if you have a chance that like you'll glue your fingers together and you will never ever be able to get them apart.
oh, I see. By lose a limb, you mean lose use of your limbs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this glue is so good it makes things fall off your body.
I asked the man at the store which glue you wanted, and he said this one. He only had one arm. Yep, and one more. And then once I desolder the problem area I created, then we'll be good. Suck out a little bit there because I got a little bit overzealous with some solder.
It's like that poor guy on the
Yeah.
on the crazy glue bottle, stuck up there.
Forever.
Holding on to his hat
Yeah, desperately holding on to it, presumably the victim of some horrible prank.
with incredibly strong biceps.
Yeah, it's actually really more impressive than the glue holding his hat to the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming that somebody glued his hat to the thing, and then they lifted him up, and so he's desperately holding on to his hat so he doesn't fall off.
And they laughed and laughed.
I think I've done it.
Well, Jesus, don't let anyone see.
All right, time to test the, if I can, on this.
I remember as a kid figuring out for the first time, figuring out for the first time that different glues work in different circumstances.
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing I think it was something to do with wargaming, like Warhammer or something. And so it was, putting together 2 pieces of styrofoam with crazy glue.
Oh.
And it's very sticky, but the thing that you're gluing disappears.
Yeah.
Because it dissolves it. And so you're like, glue, stick. Oh.
Whoop.
Yeah, now the thing that the 2 pieces are stuck together, but now they're gone. Maybe I need more glue?
Or 2 more pieces? Like a raccoon washing your food, right?
Yeah.
Oh no. Is that supposed to be? Looks like there's one cable that's not connected anymore.
No.
In which case, this might be hooped farther than I can fix.
Oh no. one of the US. So it's not just the. You thought it was just the pins that had come out, but it looks like there's more than that.
There might be one more cable. It's just not. Oh, there goes another one.
Don't pick at it.
There's another one.
That'll just make it worse. Yeah, this. Oof.
It's not really something that can be reattached, eh?
There's just not enough. Well, maybe there's enough room if I get it over like this. This might work. Problem with these wires is they're extremely thin.
I'm impressed with how good a magic eraser can work, but it is not.
It's not magic.
It's not magic. I mean, we already knew it wasn't magic, but it still doesn't quite. Like for $1, it's doing a fairly good job. But I mean, really, this is for getting shit off your wall that your kid drew on it, right? Like this is really not having the intended effect.
Yeah, this is this is a little beyond the
magic.
Well, it's beyond the normal capabilities of a magic eraser.
And the thing is, it works pretty good, but it's just not that great. And I mean, when we went shopping, we made a decision when we were there. You know, I mean, I really made that decision. I was kind of like,
I like that the magic eraser has just become flat.
yeah, it's just like, no, I am what I am now. I'm just.
I mean, that's from my experience. That's how they go.
Yeah, but it's just like we made that decision when we were in Canadian Tire, where it's like, do we buy the specialized rim cleaner? Do we buy the specialized heavy-duty rim cleaner? Do we buy the stuff by Meguiar's or Mother's because it's the really highly rated shit? Do we buy the Simonized stuff? What do we buy? And ultimately it was like, we buy Simple Green because we can use it on anything later because we're not going to use a $12 bottle of rim cleaner. Like, I mean, we will use it, but we won't use it on anything else if there's any left over, and so what's the point? So
for an office purchase, Simple Green.
And it was $3 for the bottle, and I'm like, I found that worked way better than the Fabuloso I was using at home. So, Fabuloso.
Well, I think we got through a bunch of stuff.
All right, let's sum up what you did.
Yeah, we've got, you managed to do 2 wheels.
No, 1 wheel. The other one was done when I showed up.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
A wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I put together a nut for a bass guitar. There really wasn't much to fixing the Raptor costume, but
That's still a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
I've resoldered an XLR cable and hopefully fixed up a headset. I'd say that's a good ratio.
That's
for
4 wins? Yeah. 5 wins?
Sure, let's call it. Headset, bass, Raptor, cable. Yep, 4 is good.
That makes your wins per episode average go way up.
Yeah.
That's great.
We should have more of those.
Well, while we are wrapping up here, Beach.
Yeah?
If someone wanted to support Loading Ready Run and this show, as all shows, where would they go?
I would probably stop by Patreon.
Patreon.com/Loading Ready Run.
Loading Ready Run, that's correct. That's who we are,
it.
and that's where you go to put some money in there. It's monthly, and you're helping to support all the cool stuff we do here. And it's the stuff that pays for the lights to stay on and to, pay the rent on this studio.
But what if I'm a millennial who loves free 2-day shipping?
Oh, then you should consider Twitch, because if you have Amazon Prime, you have a free Twitch Prime subscription waiting for you.
Hey.
But if you just feel like spending money, what else could they do?
Well, they could go to Wormwood.
I was going to say just go to Twitch normally and spend your money normally.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Go to twitch.tv.
Sorry.
Ready Run and subscribe there.
Or you could throw us some bits. That's also good.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also like those. Speaking of these options of giving us your money, Paul, who are our handsome and lovely subscribers today?
Well, I will tell you in just a moment.
Well, keep us in suspense.
Yeah, one sec.
If they wanted to support me, where would they go? Patreon.com/Beej. Go there. Put your money in there first.
I don't
Hey,
know
wait
that
a minute.
exists yet. And if it doesn't, I really should grab it.
I go there to sign up for a Patreon. I'm like, son of a bitch. Ian said he was going to do it, and he did.
All right, here we go. Thank you to these awesome people.
People like M. Saurus, who is a brand new subscriber. Thank you, M. Saurus.
And Trine Larson's a new Patreon supporter. That's two things that people could...
Those are the things we literally said.
Yeah.
UK Temperance, new subscriber.
And Maledictum's back for the 3rd month. Welcome back, Maledictum.
First big hungry one for 11 months. Woo, almost a year.
Hey. Moral Bacteria is back for a full year. Got your full year.
Plummeting Sloth has 50 months, having a wonderful hemicentennial monthly anniversary. Here's a brandy salute to those fine crafting boys and that fine network that supports them.
Aw, thank you.
And to you.
Potato Gangsta is back for the 6th month. I'm digging Beej's glasses. Me too.
Hot Normang for 8 months. Remember iPro? We did.
Roy Eltum's back for the 9th month. Yay, TDSF. Hi, Ian and Beej. Hi, Roy.
Drazoth has 15 months under their belt. Thank you, Drazoth.
Sense Amidst Madness is back for the 13th month. Good month, because 13 spooky months.
Mushid for 2 months. I'm watching the YouTube video of Beej's Samus Return stream while watching this. It's an adequate amount of Beej.
Glad.
Don't overdose.
Asterix Reaper is back for the 6 months. Sweet, started my 3rd trimester, Lure Baby. Congratulations on your half year.
Green Neva has subscribed for 2 months. Thank you, Green Neva.
And Roby Leaf's back for the 7th month. Thank you for returning, Roby Leaf.
It's Zirconium with 46 months.
Ooh, wow.
Thank you, Zirconium.
And Away to Me is a new subscriber. Away to you.
Alternate win con for 9 months. Sub, baby.
Orion's Rise 1 for the 2nd month. Welcome back, Orion's. Glad you like it.
Broken Golem for 12 months. Wow, a year already.
I know. Dr. McBoop's back for the 10th month. Apparently I had a sub baby and didn't realize. That's how it happens. Thanks for being great.
For 5 months. Wonderful.
How do you keep doing that? Cyrulean's back for the 26th month. Deep cleaning.
Burgor Terra for 10 months. So much successful project in one shot.
Farley F's back for the 32nd month. So this is what Derek and Richter do in their off hours, I see. I polish a helicopter's rims.
And thank you to Xanatos69, Darker Galahad, Dark Kizka, Batwool, Earthen One, Man with the Plans, Blue Chloroplast, and Asdadsa28 for those lovely bits. Da bits. All right.
That was super good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that episode. I'm really happy that we got a lot of this done. I'm really happy to have my base back. To be honest.
Yeah, that's great news.
And I did want to go over the poll here.
Right.
There's clearly some sort of overarching meta narrative going on in this poll that I'm not totally familiar with.
Oh, okay.
But here we go. So this is. He says, "Hey now, welcome to the Straw Poll All-Stars, in which winners of previous TTSF Straw Polls who will go on to win
Oh, wow.
$1 million, which I'm assuming will be supplied by Can't Wear Hats.
I hope so.
Wow, that's a long. Wow. Okay.
And the number one winner. I guess I should probably build up to the number one.
Yeah, let's go in
I
reverse
should
order.
build up to the number one. Okay.
Yeah.
2% say Penelope needs a new diaper.
Get out the soldering iron.
Yeah.
Yes.
4% say the Naomi 2 comes online, revealing its true identity as the Laphatron from Moonbase Mark III.
Not as of yet.
6% say things get mixed up when we get cups of shirts and a coffee cannon. Everyone is fine with this development.
All right, coffee.
Yeah, that was when Serge showed us how to make coffee properly.
Yeah.
7% say a slight miswire accidentally has them tap into the channel for contacting the mothership, causing Beej to miss the message that he can finally go home.
Oh. Ooh.
It's so sad. 7% also say, due to a mistake in Ian's home automation set in the wrong region, he has to learn Klingon.
Neat.
9% say
Kapoor.
Ian gets a small cut on his hand, forever giving the Dreamcast a taste for blood.
Not today.
12% say Ian, just some of him. 12% also say after the modifications to it, Ian has somehow made the turntable into a more functional Dreamcast than the Dreamcast itself.
That was actually true.
Neat.
19% say couldn't pick a username, tries to make a straw poll without knowing a goddamn thing about Gundam. And the winner of $1 million, which I don't know how that's going to be sent to this poll entry, but I'm sure that can be handled with couldn't pick usernames. Beige assembles a tank out of the parts for the desk, somehow creating an arms race with Alex's chair trebuchet.
Sweet. I mean, we got 2 wheels. I got 4 wheels here. Like we could literally get some treads.
Yeah, and then we've got a...
And I
Got
mean,
a tank. That's all you
you
need.
have to. I mean, the gun portion is certainly. I'm sure you could handle that with.
It would, yeah. Oh, and actually, we should give a short shout out about the T-shirt cannon as well. For those who are wondering, it did eventually make its way to its intended home, and the Ferguson Desert Bus photographer is now in possession of it, and it is working fantastically.
Oh, good. He's just on the roof of his building. Just there's one. There's one.
Takes a bit longer to load it, unfortunately. All right. So that's it for the broadcast today here at Loading Ready Run, but stay tuned for tomorrow for New Day Tuesday, where they will be playing a game that is Mario Odyssey, and it's going to be that guy. And Heather.
Yep, it's her idea. I'm just along for the ride.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun.
We've been sitting on this game since Friday wanting to play it. I can't wait.
But that's not all,
Oh,
because it's a New Day Tuesday.
Oh, God!
Because later on, I am going to be playing some Assassin's Creed Origins.
I can't wait to find out how the Assassins factor into the Magic universe.
Yeah, I'm. From what I understand, the plot of Mario Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Origins are actually very similar. You know,
Yeah.
and obviously, the trappings are different, but the basic story is essentially the same.
I think the only one we're not playing from release Friday is Wolfenstein 2. But I mean, 6 p.m. still open, so.
I also have to mention to you, by the way, you're not going to see Luigi. They sent him down to Diddy Town to run a cabaret club.
Hey!
And then, of course, we got Mine O'Clock. And
More
looks like
Snorshcraft.
James is going to be playing some Snorshcraft,
Nice.
which is the fan-made mod pack for Minecraft.
Yep.
We got Watch and Play.
Makes a triumphant return.
Yeah, triumphant return of Watch and Play, so that should be super fun.
Speaking of triumphant returns, is Risk Legacy back in this very room.
Hey!
Yeah, so that'll be fun too.
Watch our friendship slowly deteriorate.
It's more like the friendship deteriorates, and then in the time between Risk Legacy games, you can build it back up.
Comes strong. Yeah, we're building friendship calluses.
Exactly. What doesn't break the friendship only makes the friendship weaker and
Till
more
it breaks.
brittle.
Yeah.
And then we got 18 Games and Counting, where James and I are going to be playing a game that we don't know what it is. And LRR MTG. And Talking Simulator, where they're going to be talking about Soma.
Oh.
Apparently.
I thought they'd already played through some. I guess, well, there's more to be had. Neat. I should check the Slack and see what's going on.
So, and of course, there's lots of other stuff happening.
Yep.
But,
Programming every day of the week.
yeah, check out either loadingreadyrun.com/live or twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun/events, which is one of the buttons up at the top that I'm pointing at, even though I'm off screen. It's up there somewhere. And yeah, thank you. And of course, yeah, thank you everybody who's supporting us on Patreon and all that great stuff. And you can watch, if you missed this, you can watch replays over on youtube.com/loadingreadylive.
It's going to be a big group coming up soon.
And also, there's going to be, of course, there's all sorts of other stuff on youtube.com/loadingreadyrun almost every day. And
Can't-
some days, 2 things.
Can't stop the content.
It's true. All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and let's just watch Ian and Beach dance here for a while.
Damn it, Paul.
Have a lovely night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Ever forward.
Never learning.